You're watching ESPN's presentation of Capital One Bowl Week.
The historic Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas. Today in the Ticket City Bowl, interim Penn State head coach Tom Bradley leads Penn State. The first postseason game for the Nittany Lions without Joe Paterno on staff since the '48 Cotton Bowl. They face Houston and record-setting quarterback Case Keenum earlier getting greetings from his family here in Dallas. And here come the Houston Cougars, 12-1 on the year out of Conference USA. Welcome to Dallas in the 2012 Ticket City Bowl on ESPNU. Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome to Dallas. I'll be joined by Danny Cannell and Lisa Salters momentarily. I'm Clay Matvick. In November, the sports world was rocked when the child sex abuse scandal surrounding former Penn State defensive coordinator Jerry Sandusky erupted onto the scene. It horrified a nation and brought down legendary Penn State head coach Joe Paterno. In the 2 months since, the Nittany Lions on the field went 9-3 and almost played for the Big Ten title. Despite the success on the field, they were passed over by 4 higher-profile bowls. And a lot of folks think that this Ticket City game here lacks motivation for the Nittany Lions. We'll have to see. For more on that, let's go down to Lisa Salters.
Hey, Clay. Well, the last 2 months have certainly been difficult for the entire Penn State family, but especially for the 18 to 22-year-old players. Like you said, they considered not accepting the invitation to the Ticket City Bowl. They felt they had been slighted. Other Big Ten teams that they had beaten throughout the season, like you said, got invited to higher profile bowls. They felt that they were being punished because of the child sex abuse scandal. Obviously something that these players had nothing at all to do with. Ultimately, they did decide to come. They wanted to be here. It will be interesting to see if they really are motivated by how they play. This will not only be the last game for the 17 seniors at Penn State, but possibly for the entire coaching staff. Jay Paterno told me earlier, Joe Paterno's son, I'd be lying if I said I didn't think about it. There are going to be some emotions leading up to game time. Clay?
All right, Lisa, thank you very much. Former Florida State quarterback Danny Cannell joins me now, and if that weren't enough, there are issues at quarterback for Penn State. The starter, Matt McGloin, suffered a head injury in a locker room altercation with a teammate a couple of weeks ago. So Rob Bolden, who hasn't taken any significant snaps for the team, will play for the first time since mid-October.
Well, I think there are 2 things that are critical for Rob Bolden early in this game. First, you get your ground game going. Get Silas Redd, the 1,000-yard rusher for Penn State. Get him going early. Take some of the load off what you're asking Rob Bolden to do. The second thing, Rob Bolden's confidence was clearly shaken earlier in the year. They need to build that back up. And the way you do that, give him some short, quick, easy passes early in this game, because the more completions he gets, the more comfortable he'll feel out in the field.
As for the Houston Cougars, they almost made it to a BCS bowl game. If it weren't for the letdown in the Conference USA title game, that would have been the case. Kevin Sumlin did wonderful things with the program. That's why Texas A&M hired him away as head coach. So Tony Levine coaches for the first time as the head man, and like Sumlin, relies a lot on Case Keenum.
Yeah, an entirely different dynamic at the quarterback position for Houston. They've got Case Keenum, the 6th-year senior. He's done a remarkable job leading this Houston team to a 12-1 record. You look at his numbers, they're almost video game-like. They're just phenomenal what he's done. They're off the charts. And not only that, when they throw it around all over the place, but he doesn't turn it over. But he'll be facing his biggest challenge of his entire career going against this Penn State defense.
It's one of just 4 bowl games this entire postseason, pitting top 25 teams. Number 19, Houston. Number 22, Penn State.
That I have always dreamed of forever. When you call me the champ of the world. I can raise my hands, I can scream out the best in the world. All my blood, sweat, and grind was all for this time.
Fans coming into the historic Cotton Bowl here for the Ticket City Bowl, Penn State and Houston. Clear skies, 45 degrees, some light winds. And both of these teams, like we alluded to, dealing with motivation issues, Danny. A BCS bowl bid was certainly on the table late in the season for Houston. It didn't come to fruition for Penn State. A disappointing season in a lot of ways. And they were passed over. Here they are in the Ticket City Bowl. We will see how these teams start. There you see Tyron Carrier, one of the greatest kickoff return men of all time in college football. 7 career kickoff returns for touchdowns. As Penn State won the toss, they have deferred, and Houston will receive.
So we get a look early at the matchup everybody wanted to see. Houston's offense versus Penn State's defense.
Anthony Farah, one of 4 Texas natives on the Penn State roster, has it teed up and will kick off. And we're underway here in Dallas. End over end kick. Carrier from the 3. Right up the middle, and he will be stacked up at the 23-yard line by Adrian Amos. Case Keenum, the last game of a storied career. He owns almost every career passing mark in NCAA history. More career touchdown passes than anybody in college football history. 45 this year and only 5 interceptions. That's the amazing number.
It's unbelievable how many times, and they don't dink and dunk the ball around. He moves the ball down the field, takes his shots, but very careful with the football at the same time.
First play from scrimmage for the Houston Cougars. And a pass tipped and incomplete. The intended receiver was Carrier, couldn't handle it. And it'll bring up second down. Keenum, a 72% completion rate, and the only player in history with 3 5,000-yard passing seasons, but on his first attempt comes up empty. Second down and 10. They send Charles Sims in motion out of the backfield. 4 receivers to the right. Keenum looks that way, and back-to-back incompletions as he can't connect with Sims. So a tough start for Tony Levine's offense. The 39-year-old making his head coaching debut today, named the head coach on December 21st. He was a top assistant under someone specializing in special teams. Third down and 10. Opening series for Houston. Keenum feeling some heat. Steps up, trips, stays on his feet. Throws it downfield to a wide open man. Caught at the 48 by Edwards. And into Penn State territory. The Conference USA Offensive Player of the Year with a 39-yard reception.
Watch the DBs out on the edge here. When Case Keenum breaks outside of the pocket, they start breaking on the ball instead of staying back. See number 9 right there, just leaves Edwards wide open down the field. Now
Edwards and that offense continue to move. That is Justin Johnson on the catch this time. And a pickup of 2, second down and 8.
Houston loves going at this fast tempo. That was a big concern for Penn State defensively. How would they manage this tempo early in the game? They stressed they need to adjust to it as quickly as possible in this first quarter.
Larry Johnson and Ron Vander Linden, the co-defensive coordinators for Penn State. Tom Bradley handed off the defensive play calling duties to those guys after becoming the interim head coach. To the 35 now will be Sims. And no gain there. Third down.
Here's one more look at the big play. Case Keenum pressing the line of scrimmage. Penn State's corner out in the edge started taking Case Keenum instead of staying back with his receiver.
Third down and 8 for Houston. And a penalty flag. A false start here on the Cougars.
Second down. Correction, third down.
These long yardage situations are going to be a challenge for Houston because I think they're going to struggle with their offensive line blocking Penn State's front 4. We saw at the last third down, Case Keenum able to elude that pass rush by just that extra time.
The #1 passing offense in the country, 444 yards per game for Houston. And Keenum going deep. Has a man, caught, touchdown! A big strike. Patrick Edwards on a 40-yard play from Keenum. #19th touchdown catch for Patrick Edwards this year.
Houston on a 3rd and long situation goes for it all and gets it.
Matt Hogan coming on to tack on the extra point. He rarely misses, but there is a penalty flag down. Hogan set an NCAA record earlier this year with 78 PATs in a row. As you see, Keenum.
Penalty's declined. Extra point is good.
That is only the 3rd pass play of 40-plus yards allowed by the Penn State defense this year.
Penn State brought 2 linebackers on a blitz, but that puts their secondary in a bind. Penn State's defense is not used to covering this many receivers down the field. And you see Patrick Edwards just ran a straight go route right past the defense. See number 10, Malcolm Willis, trailing in coverage. He just ran right by him, and Case Keenum has got to love seeing that. Huge start for Houston offensively, and this is what Penn State does not want to get into. They cannot afford to get into a shootout with Houston.
Well, Keenum had a poor Conference USA title game. Threw a couple of interceptions, one in the end zone against Southern Miss. Another in that game was returned for a touchdown. Likely kept him from a Heisman invite in New York City. It certainly kept Houston out of a BCS Bowl situation. So Keenum feels he has a lot to prove in this game.
Well, he's also playing for the next level today, too, because I think when NFL scouts look at Case Keenum, they say, well, you know, he played against that Conference USA schedule all year. Let's see how he does against the big boys. And so far, he's off to a pretty good start.
Look at that. 20, 25-plus yard touchdown passes. Penn State's defense rarely gives up big plays. 6 plays, 76 yards in under 2 minutes. And now we'll see how Penn State reacts after that punch in the mouth. Chaz Powell on the return. Gets it out to the 25-yard line. And a penalty marker on that return. There's Rob Bolden.
During the return, holding. Return team number 31. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
So that'll put Penn State at the 15 to start this series. Now Bolden, they're not so much concerned about the rust as they are his confidence, because he was the starter early in the year but did not play particularly well.
No, he's got experience. He started 7 games this year, but as you can see from his numbers, it was a struggle. And Jay Paterno, his quarterback coach, said they were worried about this coming into this game.
They'll hand it off on 1st down. And Silas Redd, 4th in the Big Ten in rushing this year at 99 yards per game, picks up 3. 2nd down and 7.
It was interesting in talking to Jay Paterno. He said the way they tried to build up Rob Bolden's confidence was, instead of coaching him up off his mistakes, the things that he did wrong throughout the season, they put in some film of the good things that he did and tried to show him those to get that positive mental picture of how he needs to play the position today.
He has taken all the first-team snaps since December 17th when McGloin suffered the head injury. Away from center. Gives to Redd. Spins out of a tackle in the backfield and picks up positive yards. That could have been a loss on the play, but Redd turns it into something positive, a gain of 6.
Well, one way you can help out Rob Bolden is get Redd going early and often. Try to keep Rob Bolden in manageable 3rd down situations like this one, a 3rd and short, where you can keep the defense guessing if you're going to keep it on the ground, maybe work the short passing game. Not only that, but with the running game, you're keeping it away from Houston's offense and running that clock.
Redd represents 60% of the Penn State rushing attack, almost 1,200 yards. He sets up a 3rd and 1. They will throw here. Bolden, high and incomplete. Too tall for Michael Zordich, the fullback, the son of Mike Zordich, a former All-American at Penn State. And it brings up 4th down, and Penn State will not chance it. They will bring out the punting unit.
And that's the type of throws that have Penn State fans very frustrated with Robert Bolden. You see him coming out, a wobbly pass. He had Zordich wide open in the flat for an easy 1st down. Just overthrew him, but it's early in the game. I think Rob Bolden obviously probably has some nerves going through him right now. Just needs to settle down and make those easy completions.
So Farah comes on to punt. He handles everything in the kicking game. Kickoffs, field goal PAT, and punts. And not a good kick. Goes out of bounds near the 45-yard line. Just a 31-yard punt for Farrell. So Case Keenum already a big touchdown pass of 40 yards to his favorite target. Houston has the lead. We'll see what they can do for an encore when we come back to Dallas.
ESPN College Football, the Ticket City Bowl, is brought to you by Ticket City, your personal ticket service for events nationwide.
There's some pictures from the pep rally outside the Cotton Bowl here in Dallas yesterday. Welcome back to the 2012 Ticket City Bowl, the first college football game of the new year. Alongside Danny Cannell and Lisa Salters down on the field, I'm Clay Matvick. Houston, the touchdown on their first possession, gets the football back. Great field position to start this series at the 45. And a little razzle-dazzle. Here's Charles Sims. And he gets it into plus territory, but there is a marker down. A gain of 13 yards, but we'll see if it stands up.
During the run, illegal block in the back. Offense. Number 3. 10-yard penalty. First down.
That's on Justin Johnson, the senior receiver.
Pretty clear right there, just a block in the back right at the end of that play. Houston showing a little trickeration early, running a bubble screen, a little hook and ladder look, pitching it to the back, coming out of the backfield. I like Houston's game plan so far.
Michael Hayes in the backfield goes in motion. Keenum throws it over the middle, and it is complete. And again, quickly into Penn State territory, Justin Johnson on the catch, a gain of 23, as Keenum seems to be sharp early.
He really does, and they're giving him good protection. He's getting the ball out of his hands quick.
Wasting no time. Here's Carrier. And he's going to pick up about 6, maybe 7 on that play. Actually spotted back a little further, a gain of 5 for Houston. Danton Lynn on the tackle for Penn State.
In talking to Penn State's defensive coaches, they sounded like they prepared their defense for this type of start. Hey, we might give up a big play or two. Just keep your composure and keep battling.
Second down and 5. Keenum out of the gun, throws quickly. It is caught by Johnson. He's got almost 1,100 receiving yards this year for Houston. Here are the impact players for the Cougars.
Well, Charles Sims is their ground attack. We haven't seen him yet, haven't attempted a run. Patrick Edwards, we saw the impact he had through the air. And then Marcus McGraw and Sammy Brown on the defense at the outside linebacker position like to get after quarterbacks.
Keenum on first down, throws again. It is caught. Being dragged out of bounds is Michael Hayes out of the backfield. He is the number 2 back behind Charles Sims.
Interesting, talking to Cliff Kingsbury, the offensive coordinator for Houston, said we're not going to bang our head against the wall and try to run it. And he's proven true to his word out here today. All pass attempts so far.
Keenum lobs it up toward the end zone, and nobody is there. It looked like a crossed wires situation. Johnson, the intended receiver, but he was about 7 yards off that route.
Justin Johnson trying to run a corner out on Malcolm Willis, number 10 for Penn State, who got beat earlier on the touchdown, but Case Keenum and Justin Johnson just not on the same page on that pass.
Third down and 6. And a timeout called for by Tony Levine.
Houston. This will be a 30-second.
And we're going to step aside as well. 7-0, Houston leading and driving again. There is the DirecTV drive to the national championship bus, making a pit stop here in Dallas before heading on to New Orleans for the BCS championship game on ESPN January 9th, LSU and Alabama. Meanwhile, here at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, the Ticket City Bowl for 2012, a great start for Houston, leading at 7-0. They've got a 3rd and 6 here coming out of their timeout. They've got it at the Penn State 21. So far, Keenum, 12 pass attempts. That's the entire offense today for Houston. Keenum throws again underneath. This is going to be close to a first down, but it appears just short for Tyron Carrier. And we'll see what Tony Levine decides to do here.
I think he's going to take the points on the board. Interesting there at Penn State, deciding to play a softer zone and not blitz. The last time in 3rd and 13 they blitzed, they gave up the big touchdown play. I think that's what Penn State has to do. They've got to try to pressure with their front four and keep their secondary back, keep everybody in front of them, and make solid tackles like that one.
A 35-yard field goal attempt for Matt Hogan. That would match a season long. He is 10 for 12 on the year. Out of the hold of Crawford Jones, the kick is up, and it is good. And Houston out to a 10-0 lead. There is interim Penn State head coach Tom Bradley. This is not what he was hoping for as far as a start. He was named the interim head coach November 9th, the same day Joe Paterno was fired. 33 years on the staff, the last 12 as defensive coordinator. He has interviewed for the head coaching job. Among the names being mentioned as possible replacements for Joe Paterno, Mike Munchak, the current head coach of the Tennessee Titans, even though he has said publicly he is not interested in the job. Most recently, Bill O'Brien. His name has surfaced, the New England Patriots offensive coordinator. And Tom Clements, Green Bay Packers quarterbacks coach. And again, Bradley among the candidates on the current coaching staff who have interviewed for the full-time job.
Right. Tom Bradley, we talked to him yesterday, said he sat down, got about 2 hours in his interview, made his case for the job. But it's interesting, in this day and age, those names start flying out there, rumors with bloggers, and I think it's hard to know who's really at the top of that small list.
Interim athletic director Dave Joyner and 6 others will continue to look for a candidate that fits at Penn State. On the return, it's Chaz Powell. Let's go down to Lisa for more on the coaching search.
Hey, Clay. Well, I talked to Penn State's new athletic director, Dave Joyner, yesterday on the phone, and he said we're getting there as far as the coaching search goes. He says, I can tell you that we have it narrowed down to about a handful of people. He wouldn't confirm or deny who those handful of people are. He said out of respect for them and out of respect for the process. He says we really want this to be a good fit, and we're really trying to see people's heart, to see if they're going to fit into the Penn State system. It's going to be very important because he said we're reaching that critical window of time for recruiting. After the 13th of January up to the signing deadline on February 1st, he says we want whoever the coach is, whether it's going to be Tom Bradley or someone else, we want them to be able to maximize that time. We're close, we're getting there, but not quite yet. But
all right, Lisa, thank you very much. After that short gain by Silas Redd, it brings up 2nd down and 9. This has been a difficult time, as everyone knows, at State College, and I think a lot of relief will come when they actually do name a full-time head coach at Penn State. Silas Redd trying to go the other direction, met in the backfield and dumped for a loss of 2. Marcus McGraw comes in to make the hit. The middle linebacker.
Marcus McGraw just came off the scrape, finds an open hole and drops Silas Redd in the backfield. Marcus McGraw and Sammy Brown, the 2 linebackers, we talked about them as impact players for Houston's defense. Their offense gets so much attention, but their defense has actually played really well this season too.
Now Bolden backs away from center and looks to the sideline, calls a timeout.
Penn State.
We'll talk it over. A 3rd and 11 coming up. Bradley has spent the lion's share of his life at State College. A young head coach when he came there in the late 70s, or excuse me, a young coach, and then just worked his way up the ladder.
It's unbelievable when you look at how long he's been there. He's had 451 games combined as a coach and a player. There's only one person who has more games. That was Joe Paterno.
Today could be the last day that Tom Bradley is a member of the Penn State coaching staff. But again, he has interviewed for the head coaching job. So after the timeout, 3rd down and 11. Bolden, his first start since October 15th. 5-step drop. Gets away from a tackle. Going to try and run for the first down, and he's going to be close, but knocked out of bounds at about the 46-yard line. A gain of 10, but still about 1.5 yards short of the first down marker. Marcus McGraw, another tackle. That's his second. He only needs 6 more to become Houston's all-time leader in tackles.
We talked early about getting Rob Bolden some confidence with some short, easy throws. They tried to do it on the 3rd and short, which he missed, and then there on the 3rd and 11, you're forced to look downfield. But a pretty good decision by Rob Bolden not to force the issue, to take it down, try to get it with his legs. He almost got there. Now you kick away and you put it back on the hands of your defense.
So Farah comes on for his second punt. And this one is going to sail into the end zone, so Houston will have it at the 20. 3 and out for Penn State. And Case Keenum comes back out. First 2 possessions, lightning in a bottle. Already well over 100 yards passing.
This should be a pretty impressive shootout between those 2 guys.
Last game of a great career for Andrew Luck, and I think I speak for everybody in college football. Thanks for coming back for your senior year. Incomplete on first down. Justin Johnson, the intended receiver, was tipped by Nick Suke, number 1 in the secondary for Penn State.
That was really the first pass that I've seen where Case Keenum was a little off target, and just it was a little confusion out there as far as the pass routes on Houston's part.
Still no rushing attempts for the Cougars. Off his back foot, Keenum dumps it off short. It is caught by Charles Sims out of the backfield. And a nice run after the catch. That's the thing in this offense. Even though you're a running back, you have to be a great receiver.
You really do, because they supplement the run game with the short passing game. Plays like that one there, just a little swing pass. We saw a few bubble screens already. That's why you see such a high completion percentage, too, out of Case Keenum at 72%.
Under 7 minutes to go, opening quarter, already 10-0 Houston. On the move again, complete again. This is Carrier, caught at the 40, and he's got another first down out to the 43-yard line. Gain of 12. Cliff Kingsbury, the former Texas Tech All-American quarterback, he calls the plays for the Cougars. Tyron Carrier, not a lot of operating room on the near sideline. That's going to be a short pickup for Houston. Gain of 2.
Cliff Kingsbury was a guy who ran an offense much like this. He put up 12,000 yards over his career at Texas Tech as well, so he's very familiar with the passing game. That'll be a great relationship that he has with Case Keenum, and that kind of shoulder to rely on if you're Case Keenum, somebody to look up to as a mentor.
Keenum cocks his arm, fires deep downfield, and almost caught, but off the fingertips of Patrick Edwards. Boy, they move quickly and they look for big plays every other play.
They really do. They set up those big plays with the shorter ones. We saw a few bubble screens. They throw it. You think, man, I got to get up there and cover them. Then they try to go over the top and beat you deep like they did there.
3rd down and 8. Keenum again in the flat. This time Penn State was ready for it, and Carrier dumped for a loss.
Once again, that was what they had success with on the last 3rd and down. They didn't blitz. They kept everybody in front of them and made a good tackle in open space.
Kyrie Fort, number 11, made the tackle. And now Houston will have to kick it away.
So Penn State, the last couple drives, had a little more success defensively against Houston.
And this is Richie Leone with the punt. Drifting back off the fingertips of Drew Astorino, and he recovers, but it's going to be a long field now for the Nittany Lions. Going to start at the 6. Astorino tried to field that over his head, and it didn't work out.
Well, the sun, he was looking in the sun earlier, but that one you could tell the wind maybe played a part in that, just misplayed it, almost like a center fielder trying to catch a pop fly. There's a look. It is a beautiful day here in Dallas. Clear skies, but that sun is bright. And now for Rob Bolden, who's struggled to this point of this game, got him backed up coming out.
Just 17 yards of total offense so far for Penn State in this game. This time they go to Stephon Green, who might be Penn State's comeback player of the year. Suspended a couple of times for off-field issues early in the season. Missed the first 6 games. Started to become a factor in the run game late in the season.
He really was an addition to their depth at running back.
Galen Hall and Jay Paterno, the co-offensive coordinators now for Penn State, trying to figure something out that's going to ignite this offense. Bolden goes back to Green, and he is hit in the backfield. Gets back to the line of scrimmage, no gain.
Well, Penn State's going to have to loosen up this Houston defense, because defensively Houston is getting 8, 9 guys around the line of scrimmage, because they know what we all know, and that's that they're going to try to run the ball, use the play clock, and be very conservative with Robert Bolden. But what you've got to do if you're Penn State, you at least have to try some shots down the field to keep them honest.
Eric Braswell on that last tackle, the youngest but most productive player on the defensive front for the Cougars. 3rd down and 8. Bolden has time to throw, does downfield, but it's short and incomplete. Davon Smith, the intended receiver, and another 3 and out for the Nittany Lions, their 3rd today.
Well, they keep a very simple concept on the outside for Rob Bolden. They run a smash concept, which is basically you're going to have a corner route with a shorter route underneath it. All Bolden has to do is read that high-low concept. He makes the right read. Going to the corner route, it's wide open, just misses on the throw. Here's one more look, just underthrown. And you don't get guys more open than that. And Devon Smith running that corner route.
So Patrick Edwards back to return for Houston. He is standing basically at midfield. Farah from the end zone gets it away. And a fair catch at the 50-yard line. Another series where Houston's going to have great field position. Well, this Sunday marks the debut of ACC Sunday Night Basketball on ESPNU every Sunday night for the next 9 weeks. ESPNU showcasing an ACC matchup. Chance to see Duke 3 times. Carolina on the schedule. And in our first game this Sunday, a pair of new coaches in their ACC conference debuts. Mark Turgeon of Maryland taking on Mark Gottfried at North Carolina State. I think I drove Mark Gottfried back to coaching. He was my broadcast partner a few times last year, and he said, enough of this. So here we go, 10-0 Houston, back on offense in the first quarter. Keenum has yet to hand off. Another pass and another completion, this time to Patrick Edwards, a gain of 7. So 2nd and 3.
In Penn State, what they're doing, they're just staying back, keeping all the Houston defenders in front of them, but it's way too easy right now for Case Keenum. He's not getting any pressure in his face, and a big part of what Penn State wanted to do was bat down those short, quick passes. They haven't been able to so far.
2nd down, Keenum over the middle, tipped and incomplete. Went to Edwards again, 3rd down.
So look at Cliff Kingsbury on your right, does the play calling. Signal is into Case Keenum, and when you've got a 6th-year senior at quarterback, he can almost run the offense by himself out there on the field. Plus, they've got 4 seniors at the wide receiver position, so everybody's very comfortable with the offense and the adjustments they have to make throughout the game.
Kingsbury calls the plays, and Jason Phillips, former All-American receiver at Houston, handles the personnel. Here is Carrier. Tyron Carrier, the all-time receptions leader at Houston and Conference USA. 311 career catches coming into this game today. 3rd all-time in college football. 1st down and 10 for the Cougars. Keenum, Cox throws, man wide open, it's Edwards. Tries to step out of the tackle at the 10, gets to the 8. Another big play for Houston. A gain of 26.
Here, watch the bubble screen fake. You're going to fake the block and then hit upfield. Case Keenum, watch him pump fake the bubble screen right there, and that creates the wide open Edwards down the field. Defensive back really in a bind there on the outside. Malcolm Willis again, who got beat earlier for the touchdown, that time misplayed the read.
Houston 8 first downs today. Penn State still looking for their first. Keenum, quick throw to the end zone. Touchdown. Justin Johnson. 8-yard touchdown pass from Keenum.
And right now, Houston is just putting on a clinic in the passing game. It's way too easy right now for Case Keenum and company. He's just playing pitch and catch out there, and there's not really, the routes aren't that contested out there, and Case Keenum's able to set his back foot, and when he does that, he's deadly from the pocket.
Matt Hogan with the extra point. 17-0 Houston. All of these points coming in the first quarter. They had just 9 first quarter points in the previous 4 games. That was a bit of an issue. Slow starts for Houston coming in, but no problem today.
Here's the look. All they do is run a little quick out route. Case Keenum reads the outside coverage, sees that he's got a cleared out fade route on the outside, and just delivers a perfect pass to Justin Johnson. And that ball is delivered right in stride so Johnson can turn it upfield and get in the end zone. Case Keenum likes what he sees out there so far.
191 yards passing today for Houston.
What quarter is it?
Against an offense that has allowed just 162 yards passing per game on average. Penn State's pass defense is a top 5 pass defense, but they're being shredded by the dink and dunks and then the big plays by Houston.
And there's a look. I mean, Penn State's defense is ranked in the top 5 in several defensive categories. The most important one, scoring, in the pass defense. They're ranked 5th, which you would expect would work in their favor, but today they've got their hands full right now, and you can still see 0 rushing yards because they don't have a rushing attempt so far for Houston.
Chaz Powell back with Adrian Amos. It's Amos who gets it across the 30-yard line down to the 32. That's where Penn State will start. A return of 14 yards. And don't forget, returnman.com. New game on ESPN.
And now, and we talked a lot about this leading up to this game, that Penn State could not get in a shootout, and they couldn't go down by a lot of points either. Right now, they're faced with an uphill battle.
So Bolden, under center, play fake, tries to throw and get out of trouble in the backfield, throws it out of bounds. Great pressure by Zeke Reiser. As Bolden's difficulties getting started here continue, you see he has yet to complete a pass.
Boy, that one wasn't his fault right there under extreme duress. Had to throw the football away, but he did have 2 easy passes he could have completed before, and then Case Keenum is making every pass look easy. You know, Penn State tries to get a little more aggressive with a play action on first down, but you've got to protect your quarterback.
They brought in the Wildcat quarterback, Bill Belton. Belton, a wide receiver by trade, used in the Wildcat a lot against Ohio State and Wisconsin late in the season with some success. They bring him in just trying to get something going.
I mean, offensively right now, Penn State is really struggling, and Houston, because Penn State is so one-dimensional right now with their running game, they can load up that box. Brian Stewart said, we'll put everybody and their brother in the box until they beat us with a pass.
Penn State 0 for 3 today on 3rd down. Bolden back in there. Drops to throw and incomplete again.
Well, we talked about giving Bolden short, easy passes, giving him screen passes, and that's what Penn State tried to do that time. They tried to dial up the screen pass to Silas Redd, who got caught up in the wash with a lot of offensive linemen just getting in his way. You see him on the right side of your screen, runs into his right tackle while he's trying to get to the ball. Really not much else that Rob Bolden could have done with that play.
Here you see Jay Paterno in front of Bolden. This is the first game on the sideline for Paterno with Bolden as the starting quarterback. Paterno moved to the sidelines after Mike McQueary was put on administrative leave. Otherwise, he'd been upstairs the majority of the season. So there's a dynamic that's fresh and new.
Offense. Number 30, 5-yard penalty.
Well, and Jay Paterno, who talked so much yesterday about Rob Bolden's confidence issues, the fact that it has been a very big concern. He wants to be able to look at Rob Bolden in the eyes, talk to him, see how he's doing, his demeanor. And right now, I think that's going to come into play throughout this game if they decide to make a change at the quarterback position.
Farah shanked the punt. Takes a friendly Penn State roll, but everything going against the Nittany Lions right now. 33-yard punt. Let's go down to Lisa Salters.
Hey, Clay, well, the Penn State defense coming back onto the field right now, obviously very frustrated on the sidelines just a few moments ago. Frustrated and I think embarrassed. All-American defensive tackle Devin Still trying to coach his teammates up. He really got in their faces saying, hey, you guys do what you do. You know what you should be doing. This is football. Right now you're thinking too much. We'll see if they paid attention to what he had to say.
Larry Johnson was telling us yesterday that Devin Still has become more and more of a leader as the season has gone on, even though that's not in his makeup. He's not a very vocal guy. Trying to rally the troops here. Down 17-0 here late in the first quarter. Houston going back to work on offense. Keenum connects again, this time with E.J. Smith. He is another senior receiver. It seems like Houston has a boatload of these guys. That's a pickup of 7.
They just keep coming at you. They have so many weapons on the outside. 20 different players have got a touchdown pass for Houston.
Hey, a running play. How about it? Charles Sims up the middle, and he's got a first down and more into Penn State territory to the 46-yard line. Willis finally brings him down, but they'll move the chains again.
Well, they can slip in those little draws. When they throw it so often, defense starts looking for the pass. That's when you hit them underneath.
Play fake. Keenum. That time a little off target. Trying to get Justin Johnson up the seam. Incomplete.
Jordan Hill able to get some pressure on Case Keenum. He's only been knocked about 2 times this entire game. They need to do more of that. Force him to throw early, throw off their timing. Look at that. 26 pass plays and only 1 rush.
Keenum to the outside this time, complete for a first down. Johnson the catch. Justin Johnson, his 5th catch today. He's got 56 yards receiving.
Earlier we saw Rob Bolden miss on a smash concept, which is a corner route with a shorter route underneath it. Case Keenum, do you see how early he threw that ball? His receiver, his head wasn't even turned around. Still delivered a perfect pass.
To the 36 of Penn State with under a minute to go here in the opening quarter. It has been a dominating performance by the Cougars. Already over 200 yards passing for Case Keenum. Leading 17-0. Complete, caught at the 30, dragging tacklers is Johnson. A couple of yards short of a first down. It'll bring up 2nd down and 2.
Here's the last pass play. Look, the ball is out of, there's the receiver right there. His head is not turned around yet. The ball's already in the air from Keenum. That is perfect anticipation right there.
Keenum rolling out. And incomplete. That was Johnson again, the intended receiver, to bring up 3rd down and 2.
And you watch Houston's offense and you wonder how many more plays they have up their bag of tricks. I mean, they've done so many different things. Penn State finally able to come up with a stop on one of them.
Big hand from the Houston faithful here at the Cotton Bowl. 236 yards of total offense in the first quarter. And Tony Levine in his head coaching debut leads at 17-0. Beautiful day in Dallas, Texas. 2012 Ticket City Bowl. Houston leading 17-0 as we start the second quarter. Case Keenum has been good here so far, to say the least. Big strike here to Patrick Edwards to start the scoring. They are averaging about 8 yards per play here today, Danny Cannell.
The thing that really impresses me is notice when guys catch the ball, they're right in stride, they keep running. He is so accurate with the football. Really adds to those yards after the catch, which are so important in this type of offense.
They lead the nation in that category. Yards per play, they're at 7.9 today. 227 yards passing.
Finally, Penn State challenging on the outside with their defensive backs.
Keenum steps up. He will run. And he gets it inside the 20. Stupar stepped up to make the tackle, but it's a gain of 9 for Keenum, who was given a 6th year from the NCAA after blowing out his knee last year against UCLA in week 3. Has made a beautiful recovery, and he can run when he has to. And he's going to throw this one away as he was feeling pressure that time from the Penn State defense.
Looked like a little miscommunication there between Case Keenum and his center. The back was in motion in the backfield, and the ball just came up. Really didn't look like anybody was ready. Watch the back coming in motion, and the ball comes up, catches Case Keenum by surprise. Wisely, he just gets outside of the pocket and throws it away.
2nd down and 10. This will be the 9th play of the drive for Houston. Keenum. Incomplete. Edwards started upfield without the football.
And if you're Penn State, that's why the philosophy of keeping everybody in front of you, don't give up the big vertical play, because you're hoping for things like that to happen. A drop pass, a batted down pass. Make it a challenge for them. Make them have these sustained 9, 10, 11 play drives. Don't give up the big scoring plays like they did on the first one.
So now Keenum has missed his last 3 pass attempts. Penn State trying to stop this drive in its tracks. 3rd down and 10. Play clock under 10. Keenum. And again throws it away.
Case Keenum did not like what he saw on that pass route. Just looked like a very deliberate throwaway. Trying to go to Patrick Edwards on the outside. That ball might have made the first row in the stands.
So Hogan will come on for another field goal attempt. He hit from 35 earlier today. And this will be a 37-yard field goal attempt. And it hit the upright. No good. So a break for Penn State, which desperately needed one.
Finally, Tom Bradley has something to cheer for. You know, and if you're Penn State, you're looking for anything to get that momentum going your way.
Another good drive by Case Keenum, but they come up empty, and Tom Bradley is happy to see it. Back at the Cotton Bowl. The 2nd year that this great old stadium has hosted the Ticket City Bowl. 17-0 Houston here early in the 2nd quarter. The next 3 bowl games coming up today on the ESPN networks. Michigan State and Georgia in the Outback Bowl. Nebraska, South Carolina in the Capital One Bowl. The Gamecocks 1 win away from a program record 11th win. And then the TaxSlayer.com Gator Bowl. That's going to be also known as the Urban Meyer Bowl. The Ohio State Buckeyes and Florida Gators. Jones, Jeffrey, and Floyd, some stars from the SEC that are going to be on showcase today. All right, Penn State desperately needs something to happen positively on offense. Rob Bolden under center at quarterback. Has not looked good so far. Connects here. Complete to Kevin Hapley, the tight end, and a gain of 12, and some cheers from the Penn State crowd.
Kevin Hapley, here's a look at the corner blitz. Number 2, DJ Hayden. It's a good thing he was coming from a long way away at that corner position, because Rob Bolden didn't know he was coming.
DJ Hayden, the junior college transfer for Houston. They say he's got some NFL potential. Davon Smith. Boy, Houston was ready for that end around. And it's Hayden again, a loss of 3 on the play.
DJ Hayden all over the reverse. Good job staying on that contain on the backside. Reads it all the way. Devin Smith, you see him trying to get the ball, really had nowhere to go with it. And now Penn State, who thought was getting a little bit of momentum, tried to go with a trick play. Faced with another 2nd and long.
Lobbing it up, Bolden deep downfield, in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Derek Moy. And well covered by Hayden.
DJ Hayden, number 2 for Houston's had a busy series and a pretty solid one at that. But I like Penn State. We talked about them needing to mix things up. This time they just tried a straight go route to Derek Moy, number 6 on the outside. A perfectly placed ball by Bolden. And just a great play by DJ Hayden. And Bolden says, man, I cannot get a break out here.
Yeah, he threw that right on target. 3rd down and 13. Bolden with plenty of time. Comes to the near sideline for Moy, and that one again well defended. Tipped by McMillan. And a great job by the Houston secondary. And Penn State will have to punt.
Rob Bolden trying to hit a deep comeback route on the outside. This ball is just a split second late, and you see Zach McMillan, number 10, all that time he has to break on the football while it's in the air. We saw the difference earlier. We saw Case Keenum throwing the ball before the receiver even made his cut, but I think that's the difference between a 6th-year senior and a true sophomore.
Already the 5th punt today for Farrah. Stepping up. And fielding it is Edwards. 42-yard punt. Case Keenum ready to come back out for the Houston offense. Case Keenum, 227 yards passing, a couple of touchdowns today. Very little from the Houston run game, which is really what Penn State expected. They just haven't been able to figure out this Houston offense as far as stopping it. They have done a nice job distributing the ball into the flat, short passes, which have set up big stuff downfield too.
Well, they've tried 28 passes out of their 32 have been primarily underneath routes. And I think what I've seen the last couple series from Penn State when they've had more success, they've gotten up and they've challenged a little bit more the wide receivers. They've gotten more in their face. Earlier in the game, they played really loose coverage and they were giving up those short, easy passes without contending them. They need to get up in these receivers' faces, jam them, throw off the timing. Case Keenum has almost impeccable timing with his receivers. The way you throw that off, you make the receivers reroute. You try to jam them. Force them to attempt more passes down the field. You might give up a big play, but you're not just giving up 28 passes completed underneath.
7 different receivers have caught a pass today for Houston. They have had scoring opportunities on 4 of their 5 drives today.
Look at the little coverage. It's just a little bit tighter than it was earlier in the game.
Keenum incomplete. That was well defended. Carrier, the intended receiver.
Well, it's tougher. Those passing lanes get a little bit smaller. You're able to get your body on a receiver. You can kind of feel him coming out of a break. And Penn State is starting to get a little bit more comfortable in this pass coverage. You got to remember, Penn State does not face a passing attack like this all year long.
Gerald Hodges has become the leader of that linebacking core. Made that last play. And now being wrestled down here is Case Keenum. And that's going to be a loss of 3.
And another nice little adjustment on behalf of Penn State. Case Keenum likes to watch the defensive end right here. Watch what he does when he recognizes pass. When he sees that flare route, he takes that back. Case Keenum actually thought about going there, but it was taken away by a defensive end.
3rd and 13. Houston 4 of 7 today on 3rd down as Penn State is trying to get off the field, get Keenum off the field, most importantly. Haven't been able to do that very effectively so far. In the flat, caught, and getting out of a tackle as Carrier gets some yardage. But a good stop by the Penn State defense, and Houston has to kick.
And you saw a few nice adjustments that Penn State made. We talked to Larry Johnson and Ron Vanderlinden, their co-defensive coordinators, and they were very concerned about the first quarter. They said, man, we hope we don't give up too many big plays because it'll take us a while to adapt. Sure enough, they've given up 17 points, but it looks like they're starting to figure out what Houston is doing offensively.
Second punt for Leone.
What a beautiful punt.
Brown backs up inside the 10. Comes to the near side and finds room. Justin Brown, good return for Penn State, still on his feet. Stays in bounds. Touchdown! Justin Brown.
Are you kidding me with that return from Justin Brown?
93 yards on the return for Brown. Well, the Penn State offense has been anemic, but the special teams comes up with a big play. Are they going to say he was out?
Right here, he was tiptoeing along the sideline right there. It does look like his left foot is out of bounds. So this one will come back. But what an effort by Justin Brown. It looked like about 3 or 4 times he thought the play was going to be dead. Finally, something for Penn State's fans to cheer about. Even still, it's coming back. It'll still give them great field position from which to start. But when you're struggling this much offensively, you need those special teams points desperately.
Jeff McConaughey is our official, our lead referee, and the replay official is Steve McBride. It's a Big East officiating crew. They're taking a look at it upstairs. It appeared that he did step out.
This should be a fairly quick review, although they'll have to find where it was on the field. You see Justin Brown. I mean, he was working such a tight lane.
One out at the 33-yard line. Penn State will take over 1st and 10 at the 33-yard line.
So they'll put it at the 33. Still a big play for Penn State, even though the points come off the board. It's something positive, and we've seen very little of that today.
Well, they haven't been able to capitalize on a couple breaks. They had the missed field goal the prior drive, so you thought maybe they'd get something going there. This time, Justin Brown with a huge return. You know, it comes back on their 33. They just need to step up and make a play. And even last time they tried to pass down the field to Derek Moy, but it was outstanding defense by DJ Hayden.
Rob Bolden. Handoff to Stephon Green. A good run on 1st down. Braswell makes the tackle out across the 40-yard line, a gain of 8 for Green.
Well, we've seen Penn State defensively make a few adjustments, and Penn State's offense looks a little more comfortable. The offensive line up front with their angles against this 3-4 defense that Houston runs, giving the running backs a little bit more room to run.
Two receivers to the right, one to the near side. They'll send Joe Suey in motion. Power run game right up the middle for Green again. He is going to be close to a 1st down. It appears that he might have it. Rob Bolden tried to transfer a year ago after the Outback Bowl loss to Florida, where McGloin played the entire game despite throwing 5 interceptions. He was not granted his release. Became the starter to start the year, but bad play took him off the field. Now he's getting a chance to redeem himself here in the bowl game. Goes back to Green, looking for room on the right side. He is pulled down from behind at the 45. Signs with the tackle. It's a 1-yard pickup.
But that was one of the first things that Tom Bradley did when he took over as head coach was, we're going to stop rolling our quarterbacks. And he went with Matt McGloin. But now with Bolden, this is really the first time he's had to play without having to look over his shoulder, which Jay Paterno said hopefully that will give him that confidence boost. You see the numbers there. Neither quarterback exactly impressive with their production.
42% completion rate really stands out. Tough time, and now he is going to be sacked at the 33-yard line. Sammy Brown, who has had a tremendous senior season, first team All-Conference USA, his 14th sack of the year. It's a loss of 8 yards.
Sammy Brown leads the FBS in tackles for a loss. Watch him play right here. Great job recognizing the play action. Just slips the fullback blocking him and gets after Bolden for a huge sack.
This 3-4 defense under defensive coordinator Brian Stewart. The linebackers are really the backbone. A big play there by weak side linebacker Sammy Brown. Now 3rd and 17. Bolden, deep pass downfield. Caught at the 20. What a catch by Davon Smith. He laid out and hauled that in.
Well, we just said somebody for Penn State needed to step up, and Davon Smith did it in a huge way. Time in a 3rd and long situation, you're thinking, don't give up a big play. He just runs right by him, a straight go route. The safety number 41, Nick Sines, just kind of took a bad angle. Davon Smith lays out for the spectacular catch.
2nd completion today for Bolden. That one 43 yards. And now Penn State's in business. 1st and 10 at the 20. Bolden. And right up the middle, that's a gain of 3 for Silas Redd, who had 5 straight 100-yard games before injuring his collarbone against Nebraska, which limited him the last few weeks of the regular season. But talking to the coaches, talking to Silas Redd this week, he's feeling okay now.
You know, it's interesting watching Rob Bolden throw the ball downfield. We talked to Jay Paterno and said, what does he like to throw? Or what are you going to try to give him to get his confidence going, expecting the short passes? But he said Bolden actually likes to throw the ball deep. Doing a few nice fade routes so far.
7th play of the drive, the longest of the day for Penn State by far. Here's Redd again. And he'll dance inside the 15, brought down at the 14-yard line. A gain of 3 for Redd, who was a backup to Penn State's all-time leading rusher Evan Royster last year. He's going to come off the field now. And Stephon Green back in. 3rd down and 4 for Penn State. Thinking 6 here, but any points would be outstanding for this offense, which has struggled today. Green gets it down close to the 5-yard line.
And you can see Penn State's entire offense gaining confidence with each play call. That time a huge hole on a 3rd and 4, able to keep it on the ground. When you have 3rd and 4s, you can keep it on the ground and take those type of chances. Stephon Green, who's been so productive the last 4 or 5 games, showing some emotion out there too. That's what this Penn State team has lacked so far this game. They need somebody. Davon Moore stepped up, or Davon Smith, excuse me.
So 1st down and goal to go for the Nittany Lions. Oh, high snap. Bolden recovers. Oh, it was a direct snap. Excuse me. I was faked out up here and down to the goal line. Touchdown. Penn State.
Clay, you were faked out, but so was Houston's entire defense.
Direct snap, and it's a touchdown for Green.
He snapped it right to Green. See number 67, Quinn Barham, coming right in front, leading the way, and then Green just powers his way into the end zone.
And the extra point by Farrell. 6th touchdown of the year for Green, and Penn State has got something going now. They got a little mojo. It was all set up by that long pass, Rob Bolden. And the great catch by Davon Smith, a 40-yard hookup, led to the touchdown. 17-7 now here in Dallas. He's one of the favorite hotspots here in Dallas, and the Penn State team went there one night and had some good chow, and then a hypnotist entertained them. Well, Penn State's on the board now, 17-7. Let's go back to that last play, Danny.
Here's the tackle. Watch him pull around and lead the way. Picks up a nice block on a linebacker scraping through. And then Green is able to power his way. That's actually a defensive tackle that he's running over, but Quinn Barham with a nice block on Derek Matthews, the middle linebacker, really set that play up for Green.
Now, Jay Paterno said there might be a trick play or a couple of new wrinkles in the offense. I don't know. Was that it?
That might be. I mean, that was an interesting wrinkle for Penn State to run. I liked it.
You see the first 5 drives, only 34 yards of offense. That last drive, 67 yards.
We used to run that play at Florida State with Warwick Dunn a ton. Sit back there in the shotgun, let him get the ball.
And even though Justin Brown's punt return was called back, they still put together a nice drive, and it leads to a touchdown. Houston going to get the ball back on the return. Tyron Carrier, look out, he's dangerous. 7 career returns for touchdown out to midfield. Let's go down to Lisa Salters.
Hey, Clay. Well, remember we were talking to Jay Paterno yesterday, asking him about Joe, and he was saying Joe would be watching. I asked Jay, are there any plays that are going to be that Joe is going to see and think, hey, where'd that come from? And he goes, yes, there are, and you will know them when you see them. Well, you asked, was that the play? I just yelled out to Jay, hey, Jay. I didn't have to ask him the question. He just looked up at me, smiled, and nodded his head. That was one of them.
That was effective. And I'm sure Joe Paterno, who's currently recovering from a broken pelvis and being treated for lung cancer, is watching intently. Second Houston drive starting at midfield. Underneath, Keenum completes it to Charles Sims. And he's going to be toppled after a 3-yard pickup. 2nd down and 7. Stephon Morris on the tackle.
And a game that was starting to look like it was getting out of hand with Houston 17-0. Penn State able to get a couple defensive stops, put it up, cut it down to 10. All of a sudden, things are getting interesting.
Keenum in and out of the hands of the intended receiver. Edwards incomplete. So it'll bring up 3rd down. You can see how Keenum started, and since he has cooled off considerably, just 2 for his last 10.
Well, it's not only him, but even that last play, a drop pass. We saw a drop pass the last drive. Just Houston has not produced the same way they did at the start of this game.
On 3rd and 7. Complete, caught at the 34-yard line by Edwards. Every time Keenum needs to convert or looks for a big play, it seems like Edwards is the primary man.
Patrick Edwards, coaches talked about him as a co-offensive MVP with Case Keenum because of the plays he's made. Said he's had a phenomenal year, and you can see why, the type of production he brings to this offense.
After the gain of 13, 1st and 10, another pass caught by Johnson, and he picks up 9.
Well, earlier the success we saw Penn State have was because they were getting up and challenging more, but now all of a sudden they're getting softer again, and that's where Case Keenum is making them pay all day long. They need to do this more often. These guys, get them up there, bump, challenge those wide receivers.
Penn State brings 4. Complete again at the 15. That is Tyron Carrier, and a late flag comes in. 1st down catch for Carrier, but a penalty flag is down.
An eligible player downfield, offense. Number 64, 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down.
Penalty called on the left guard, Ty Cloud. That's the 3rd penalty against Houston.
Number 64 right at the bottom of your screen. You know, that was a fake screen route called to the outside. It almost looks like Ty Cloud thought they were going to throw the screen and get downfield and start blocking for the receiver. So
there's Nick Suke, Dan, coming off slowly, the hard-hitting 5th-year free safety. The seniors have done a great job this season helping to keep things together for this Penn State team. Suke is one of them.
They really have.
2nd down and 6. As Houston is backed up now to the 30-yard line after the penalty. Keenum, deep drop, now steps up to throw, and it should have been caught, juggled at the 15-yard line by E.J. Smith. That'll bring up 3rd down.
But yet another drop ball. That ball should have been completed here. It's like E.J. Smith a little more concerned with where his feet were on the field than catching the football. I think he thought he was closer to the sidelines. Couldn't come up with a catch.
This is pass number 40 for Case Keenum today, and it's complete. And it is going to be just short of the 1st down. Gerald Hodges dragging Carrier out of bounds. It's a gain of 5. It'll bring up 4th down and 1.
And right now, Houston's entire offense still on the field.
Players slow to get up on that Houston sideline, too. We're going to step aside. Just over 4 minutes to go in the half. Houston driving, leading by 10. Yeah, that sounds vaguely familiar.
Let's just hope we don't have to see that type of score again in the title game.
17-7 here at the Cotton Bowl. Houston on top. Unfortunately for Houston, they may be without Tyron Carrier the rest of the game. That did not look pretty as he was hauled out of bounds by Hodges.
No, that was an awkward knee bend there for Carrier. And that's a huge blow. That's their team leader in receptions for this offense. He's got 87 on the year.
And he's a key component of the return game. 4th down and 1. Tony Levine going for it here. Keenum throws incomplete. Broken up by Hodges. What a great defensive series. And the field goal unit comes out again.
Case Keenum on a 4th down and short. They stay to the air. You see the big mitt, just enough of that ball, just got enough of it was Gerald Hodges to throw off the accuracy of that pass to Patrick Edwards, which is also defended well on the outside by Lynn, number 8. It's interesting watching a team with 4th and inches go to the air.
Excuse me, of course, Penn State taking over here after the defensive stand. Bolden, hands off. Red picks up 3. 2nd down and 7. Tonight it's a top 5 duel between two of the game's most feared offensive weapons. Andrew Luck and Stanford taking on 3rd-ranked Oklahoma State in the Fiesta Bowl, Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. It's coming your way 8:30 Eastern time on ESPN. You can also get it on ESPN Radio, ESPN3, and streaming live on WatchESPN.com and the Watch ESPN app tonight at 8:30. 2nd down and 7. Penn State trying to capitalize on some momentum that they certainly got on that last scoring drive. Red a gain of 3. They'll bring up 3rd down.
And you really can see they're playing, Penn State is playing with more emotion. They're playing with a little more oomph in their step. Their blocks are getting better. The holes are getting bigger, and Bolden's throwing with more authority. This is a big 3rd down for them though here, but 3rd and 4, very manageable for Bolden. Opens up the playbook a little bit. You can keep it on the ground and try to pound it. You work the short passing game.
Bolden just 2 completions today in 8 attempts. On 3rd and 4, throws to the outside and almost jumping that route and taking it back the other way was Hayden, who has played outstanding football here in the half.
DJ Hayden's been all over the field. We talked about the short, quick passing game on 3rd and 4. Just trying to hit a quick out route. DJ Hayden almost had the pick 6, read it perfectly. Thing is, a defensive back is aware that it's 3rd and 4 too. He knows where the sticks are. He knows where you're trying to throw it, so you can get very aggressive. Was not concerned at all about getting beat deep, but a pretty impressive play on the outside nonetheless.
Edwards back to return this kick from Farah. This is punt number 6 for Farah today. Averages 42 yards per punt. Fair catch called for, but this is going to bounce and take a nice Penn State roll inside the 20-yard line. 17-7, Houston leads. Let's go to the studio for an update with Anish.
Clay, coming up on the H&R Block halftime report, we'll have the latest on Penn State's search for a new head football coach. Also, bowl highlights as the Big Ten taking on the SEC in a couple of games. Plus, we will break down the BCS championship. We'll take you inside the film room as we break down LSU and Bama.
All right, we'll see you in 2 minutes and 7 seconds. Anish, who do you like in the national championship game?
I actually think Alabama's going to get the best of them with the rematch. Nick Saban, it's tough to beat him twice in a row.
Been pretty outspoken about Oklahoma State deserving to be playing in that game. Another completion for Keenum. Gets it out to the 25-yard line, and a late flag comes in again.
Everybody on Houston's team was signaling for a face mask call there.
Ronnie Williams caught it, and then, yeah, it looked like Stupar got his hand in there.
There is no foul for a face mask. Result of the play is a first down.
Well, it came in late. I thought it was pretty clear on the replay that he did get that face mask. But officials talked about it, felt otherwise.
So Keenum stepping up, throws on the run, has a man wide open. Patrick Edwards walks in for the touchdown. His second score today. Total breakdown in coverage by Penn State, leaving a man wide open. A 75-yard play. Edwards has 7 catches today for 200 yards, and that's his second touchdown. We're still in the first half. And now Hogan comes on for the extra point. And more penalty flags.
This Houston offense, you look at all their statistics that they put up all year, and they're impressive, but when you watch it in person.
Offside. Defense. Penalties decline. Replay the try.
When you watch it in person, Clay, I mean, it's more impressive to see how they go about, how they do things, how they work the ball down the field, how they create these big plays.
And Penn State had a hard time simulating it in practice. Even though you get a month to prepare for the bowl game, it's hard to simulate this kind of speed in practice. And you can see the Nittany Lions are really on their heels. Case Keenum, 28 of 43, 347 yards already.
Let's look at why this play was so wide open. Watch the safety. Here's the matchup. Watch what the safety does, though. He slips and falls down, and just that split second allows Edwards to get wide open down the field. And that's your worst nightmare as a safety. You see 28 right in front of him. Patrick Edwards gave just the slightest head fake towards the outside, toward the corner. And that's what Drew Astorino saw at the safety position and just fell down.
And quick strikes. That's what Houston is known for. 50 touchdown drives now of 2 minutes or less, 3 today. Keenum 3 touchdown passes today, 48 for the year.
Case Keenum has really been impressive today. Even on that last play, just a little step up in the pocket to buy a split second to let that play develop and work the ball down the field. And man, just when you thought Penn State was trying to creep back into this game, Houston comes back with a big response.
Chaz Powell from the 10-yard line. Nice cutback, finds a block, there's a marker down, gets to the 30, and that's where he is met, driven out of bounds at the 31. A flag down at the 21-yard line on that play.
They're on the return. Block in the back. Return team, number 43. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Well, Sunday night, ESPNU sets the table for the All-State BCS National Championship game. At 8, our experts provide unique opinion and insight into the game. Then at 9 and 10, we relive the season for both Alabama and LSU. At 11, we'll take you inside the film room as our coaches break down the game plan. College football lives on ESPNU. BCS Championship coverage begins Sunday night at 8 Eastern. So Tom Bradley's Nittany Lions backed up after the penalty, back to the 11-yard line. And Rob Bolden, who's not a good passing quarterback, has a long field and only a minute and a half to work with here before halftime.
And I was real interested to see how Penn State handles this minute and a half drill, to see if they would open up things a little bit for Rob Bolden.
After that short run by Green, they'll call a timeout here.
That was actually Houston, I think, that called the timeout. They want to get the ball back and try to score again. I mean, that's kind of the difference in philosophies here. I mean, Penn State, very conservative on offense, play really strong defense. Houston is already thinking about getting the ball back. They might not even get it back with about 45, 50 seconds, but that's all they need. They're going to force Penn State to try to get a first down and force their hand a little bit.
There's got to be some Houston fans out there that are wondering, where was this, when we played Southern Miss for, an opportunity to play in a BCS bowl game? That was just an entirely different team than what we're seeing today. Very flat.
Yeah, and we talked to the Houston coaches about it, and they said, look, every one of our good players played bad.
Yeah.
That just wasn't the right formula.
2nd down and 8. Bolden will throw. Getting some pressure. Dropped it off short for Green. It was too high. It lands incomplete, and he took a shot to boot. Brown and Braswell bringing the pressure.
Sammy Brown coming off the edge, just beats the right tackle. It looked actually worse from up here than it did actually. Rob Bolden left his feet. That's when you make yourself very vulnerable as either a passer or as a ball carrier. Easily knocked down by Sammy Brown, who's had such a spectacular year at the outside linebacker position for Houston.
Well, this appears to be playing into Houston's plan here. If they can make a stop, they would get the ball back with plenty of time, certainly for Case Keenum and company.
Timeout.
And now a Penn State timeout.
This will be a 30-second timeout.
Next Monday, ESPNU counts you down to the All-State BCS Championship at 3, Palmer and Pollock. Then BCS Countdown at 4 Eastern. And Sports Nation wrapping it up at 6 Eastern time, getting you ready for LSU and Alabama. A big game in New Orleans on the 9th. Countdown to kickoff with ESPNU. So after the timeout, what does Jay Paterno and Galen Hall draw up here?
They showed a wildcat formation the last time. This time more traditional set.
And Bolden comes back out of the shotgun. 3rd down and 8. 1:21 to go. Inside handoff to Green, and does get a nice run, but Nick Sines brings him down well short of the first down. So it's 4th down.
Houston.
And Houston with another timeout with 1:16 to go.
They're going to get the ball back with a lot of time on the clock, and Houston very comfortable running the 2-minute drill, or the 1-minute drill in this case. I mean, it helps to have a 6th-year cornerback with 4 wide receivers who are all seniors, and they operate at a fast tempo regardless of how much time is left on the clock. So they're very comfortable in this situation.
Keep in mind, though, Tyrod Carrier, the all-time receptions leader at Houston, is probably out of the picture here the rest of the way for Houston. He suffered what appeared to be a leg injury of some kind on the sideline not that long ago. And there he is on the sideline, and looks like some of the teammates are consoling him. His day could be over.
Yeah, Ty Carrier is a 5th-year senior, has meant so much to this program, has put up such phenomenal numbers, but you hate to see a guy in his last collegiate game have to leave with an injury.
Damian Payne is back to return this kick because Carrier's on the sideline. From the 32-yard line. Boy, he's going to get nowhere. Damian Payne is wrestled down, no gain, a 49-yard kick. Let's go down to Lisa Salters.
We're talking about that last 75-yard touchdown throw and reception by Patrick Edwards. Just thinking about it, it was not that long ago that he had that horrible injury at Marshall. He ran through the back of the end zone, ran into that golf cart. You remember that looked like a career-ending injury. He broke his leg. I spoke to him just a couple of weeks ago at the Conference USA Championship game, and he says he has a metal rod in that leg, and he says he actually watches that video. It's hard for us to watch.
Yeah.
He says he watches it over and over just to remind him of how far he's come.
I would never want to see that thing again, to be honest, but whatever motivates you, I guess. He gets out to the 40 here on this play. Charles Sims, the catch, a gain of 9. There you see Edwards. Really a great story. He walked onto this program, and now he's the career leader in touchdowns at Houston. He's got a good day going so far with 2 today. And now Justin Johnson making a catch. They're into plus territory with 35 seconds to go before halftime.
On Case Keenum, there was a little lull there for Houston's offense the past couple series, but then all of a sudden they have found their rhythm once again.
From the 35, wasting no time, a run just to mix it up. It's Charles Sims going ahead for about 3.
Now they've got to clock it.
20 seconds.
Penn State's taking their time getting up. Actually, a player down on the field. I wonder if that's a little strategy out there on behalf of Penn State. I think Houston's crowd is sensing that, letting them hear it.
Yeah, it's Nate Stupar, the one that is slow to get up. Nope, check that.
Sean Stanley, number 90.
So they're going to put a couple of ticks back on the clock, it looks like. 13 seconds, I believe, is what they're going to have to work with here.
Let's have a look. Number 90 right in the middle of your screen. Oh, you did see him on his left elbow area. Like one of his own guys came in. Here's Case Keenum, a look at him surveying the field. See him looking hard to the right. Then watch where he ends up going with the ball. His vision sees the whole field, comes back to the crossing route late to Justin Johnson. Really great field vision for Case Keenum.
Keenum already 380 yards passing, 10 seconds to play in the half. He's going to throw this one away to save a down here. They're going to have a 3rd and 7 now with 5 seconds to go.
Here's Devin Still, who's been relatively quiet. That time a nice swim move right in the middle of your screen, forcing Case Keenum to throw that ball away.
First team All-American Devin Still. And they're just going to go for it here as far as the field goal attempt on 3rd down. A 50-yard attempt for Hogan. This would be a career long. Kick is on the way, and it is no good.
He missed his last one. He hit the right upright, and that one he misses wide right.
You got a Case Keenum, Danny, and you got 5 seconds. You got a definite chance at one more play toward the end zone. Do you take that shot?
No, it's a little too tricky. They say the average play is about 7 seconds, so you don't want to risk it.
Let's go down to Lisa Salters.
Thanks, Clay. Tom, it looked like you guys had found some momentum, and then that 75-yard touchdown pass. What happened?
Well, you know, Drew got caught up on it. He caught up on a scramble, kind of jumped the post a little bit, and the guy ran by him. And you just can't give up the big plays. That's what we talked about all week. I was worried about the first quarter getting off. We got off to the bad start, which you can't happen in bowl games.
So what do you do now offensively to get back into this?
Well, we got to obviously put some long drives together. We've got to keep the ball a little bit, get back to our game, and try to tighten it up and get this to a one-score game.
All right, thank you for your time.
Thank
Clay?
you very much. Thank you.
All right, Lisa, 398 yards of total offense for Houston. Case Keenum and the Cougars lead at 24-7 at the half. We're going to send you to the studio now. Anish Shroff and Matt Stinchcomb.
You're watching ESPN's presentation of Capital One Bowl Week.
Today is the day. It's the day that I have always dreamed of forever. When you call me the champ of the world. I can raise my hands, I can scream out the best in the world.
Welcome back to the 2012 Ticket City Bowl from the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas. All Houston in that first half, 24-7. As we get ready to start the third quarter alongside Danny Cannell, I'm Clay Mathick, Lisa Salters down on the field. Case Keenum, very impressive in that first half. That Houston offense ran 50 plays, 46 passing plays. He's already got 380 through the air.
It's unbelievable. We talked about at the Open, you know, what an impressive passer he was, but he has put on a clinic today in the passing game. He's spread the ball all around the field. He's been very accurate with the football. He's made great decisions. We're talking about a guy who's only thrown 5 interceptions this whole season. But the thing I really love about him, he gets the guys, he hits them in stride, lets them keep running with the football, and his vision, he finds guys like Patrick Edwards here, finds that open receiver for the big play time after time, makes you pay.
Here is the pass chart for Case Keenum. You can see that the underneath stuff, the stuff in the flat, has set up a few big plays deep.
Yeah, 40 of his 46 attempts have been primarily the shorter passing game. I think what Penn State's going to have to do defensively, we talked about it a lot in the first half, they're going to have to get up there and challenge those short throws, try to throw off the timing of Houston in their pass game.
Let's go down to Lisa Salters.
Hey guys, well, as you said, Houston, almost 400 yards in total offense. Not good enough for head coach Tony Levine. He said, I wouldn't even have known that number had you not told me. He said, we dropped too many balls. That's what I told our guys, and we missed 2 field goals. We've got to play better. I said, Coach, you're just a nitpicker. He says, I am. We came to win this game. We came here to win. We need to play better. We need to show everyone that what happened to us in the regular season was not a fluke. We really are that good. And an injury update, wide receiver Tyron Carrier, it's a right knee injury. He will not return to this game.
All right, Lisa, thank you very much. There is Tony Levine, young head coach now, 39 years old, named the head coach on December 21st. They took that interim tag off, and he says this is his dream job. His family loves Houston. He's got a great recruiting base. You know, Texas is a great recruiting area, and he feels that with them moving to the Big East, he's got a dream job.
He really does. It's interesting hearing Lisa say he complained about the field goals, probably because he was the special teams coordinator all year long before he was named interim coach and then head coach after that, harping on his kickers.
Penn State will have the football to start, and they will start at the 20 as Adrian Amos takes a knee. First half stats, and look at these numbers for Houston. 398 total yards, 14 first downs, and 8 yards per play.
They really are like video game numbers. They throw it every time almost. I mean, they only had 4 rush attempts. And Case Keenum, I mean, you look at him pulling the trigger back there from the pocket, and he really is impressive. He's making a real strong case for his career at the next level today.
The knock against him is that he's not tall. He's listed at 6'2". He's probably not that tall, but the coaches will say, hey, you know, that was the knock on Drew Brees, too. He threw 5 touchdowns yesterday. Bill Belton, the Wildcat quarterback, takes the first snap of the second half and runs for a first down for the Nittany Lions.
Bill Belton has shown a little bit of Wildcat all season long. The thing that he made this play was his change of direction there. He tried the play side, where it was designed, but then watch him change direction, eludes one tackler. That's Sammy Brown, number 8, when he cuts it back against the grain, and that's just letting his athleticism take over at the end of that play.
Again, a true freshman out of Sicklerville, New Jersey, and yeah, they're going to send Bolden out as a receiver in the slot. And he's going to run again. Bill Belton, another good run across the 40. And are we going to see a lot of this, you think?
You know, the way things went for most of the first half, especially the first quarter, this looks like a wrinkle that they might try to generate some offense. But in any case, I think it keeps Houston guessing a little bit, because Houston, for the most part, the first half will put 8 or 9 guys in the box and just beats you in the numbers game. When you run that Wildcat, at least you mix them up a little bit. Here they are doing it again.
Second down and 3. True freshman Bill Belton hands off to Silas Redd, and Redd is going to be close to a first down. Belton 5'10", 206 pounds, again used late in the season as the Wildcat quarterback against Ohio State and Wisconsin. There was some success there. Also, they tried using Curtis Drake. Of course, he is not on the trip. He was involved in that altercation with Matt McGloin, asked to not make the trip. He was expected to be used maybe in this kind of role, but he's not here. So they're going with Bill Belton.
Once again, another Wildcat formation. I guess you take the approach, hey, you've got to stop us first before we stop running it.
Belton rolling to his right. He's going to throw downfield. Has a man. It's caught and dropped. Davon Smith, the intended receiver, well covered. And the ball popped loose. It looked like Brooks, Kent Brooks, the free safety, jarred that ball free.
Well, the defensive back on the outside was fooled on the pass route, but Kent Brooks from the safety position, number 94. Watch number 2, DJ Hayden. He comes up to play the run. Just that split second of hesitation. But then there's Brooks with a big hit to break up the pass just in time.
So now Bolden back in the game, hands off on second down to Stephon Green. And it's a pickup of 5. That's his 10th carry today. He's got 40 yards on the afternoon. Here's another look at that big hit.
Perfectly executed too. You know, didn't lead with a helmet, led with his shoulder, timed it up perfectly. Basically, it was a race. When that ball went to the air, it was a race for Kent Brooks to get there in time to be able to break it up.
This Houston pass defense ranks 24th national. Just 115 yards per game allowed. Secondary is maybe underrated. You don't hear a lot about this Houston defense, but it's not bad. Across the 45-yard line to the 43. A gain of 8 on that play for Green. And
Green just saw the slightest little cutback lane, which enabled that first down gain right there. Just right there, we saw the hole develop to the backside. He's able to convert. That's about the 3rd time they've run it on 3rd and 4.
And it's the 3rd first down on this drive for Penn State. They only had 4 in the first half.
That ball was on the ground, yeah. A little struggle with the quarterback center exchange there.
And that's going to be a loss of 1 as Penn State is able to recover.
And it's just the look of frustration on Tom Bradley's face says it all. Every time Penn State has gotten something going, you see there, Bolden never really got the ball up in his hands. You know, you start feeling like they're gaining some momentum, and then they have a play like that to set them back.
On 2nd and 11, Bolden to throw. Almost intercepted. Should have been. Derek Matthews stepped in front of that pass. The tremendous true freshman linebacker, candidate for freshman All-American. He had nothing but daylight ahead of him.
They're going to run 2 slant routes up top, but watch the backer move that way towards the slant the whole time. Sees it, takes a beeline there, is looking at Bolden the whole entire way. Almost comes up with a pick 6. He'd love to have that one back.
That's the 2nd dropped interception by Houston today. 3rd and 11. Bolden deep down the middle of the field, and this one is intercepted. Picked off at the 4-yard line by Nick Sines. The senior out of Pearland, Texas, takes it away. 2nd interception this year, and Houston gets the football back. They'll give it to their record-setting quarterback when we return. Case Keenum has had some bad luck in his career during bowl games. 3 bowl games, just 3 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. But today, a different story. Already nearly 400 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. And you take a look at his bio blast. They knock his height and his overall size for the next level, but he certainly can make all the throws.
Well, it was interesting asking Cliff Kingsbury, his offensive coordinator, about those chances. Said if he gets in the right system with the right people around him, he can definitely excel at the next level. And I agree with Cliff Kingsbury.
Keenum 30 of 46 passing today from the end zone. Complete to Justin Johnson out across the 20. Big play to the 27-yard line. Chaz Powell knocked him down, but it's a gain of 22 for Houston.
That is timing right there. Watch Justin Johnson, number 3, sets up the defensive back, number 34. It's actually a linebacker. Breaks to the inside.
Another pass complete, this time to Ronnie Williams, and that's going to be a gain of nearly 10 yards on first down.
Those types of routes and those little adjustments, those little idiosyncrasies between a quarterback and a receiver, those take a long time to develop, and these guys have been playing together for their entire careers, and it's very evident on the field.
They do give him the first down. The worst starting field position of the day for Houston, but they quickly get out of a difficult spot close to the end zone and now have it at the 37. Keenum, another quick strike to Williams out to the sideline. That's going to be a short pickup, maybe a yard.
Clay, you just mentioned it too. I mean, that is a quick release. I mean, he just flings it out of there so quickly. He really takes a lot of load off our offensive linemen and puts a lot of pressure on those defensive backs and secondary, getting out of there so fast.
Now 2nd and 9. Keenum feeling some heat, rolls out. Still looking, and now he'll just step out of bounds out across the 40-yard line. A gain of 3 on that run as Nate Stupar escorted him out.
You know, the other thing about Case Keenum that I've been impressed with is his pocket awareness, his presence to step up in the pocket when there's pressure. And even that play there to get flushed out of the pocket, avoid a sack. You know, he's not going to light up a 40 time, but you don't have to as a quarterback at the next level. You just have to have that pocket movement.
Again, we thought that this would be a big showcase game for him today, and he's impressing some people who maybe haven't taken a real good look at him before. A gain of 5 here out to the 46-yard line. And it's going to bring up 4th down and short, and Houston will have to punt. One of the rare times they've had to walk the punter out.
Yeah, they really haven't had to be forced to punt it that many times. It's been a rather slow day for Richie Leone for Houston.
So Leone comes on to kick. Brown is back to return. He had a punt return called back earlier in this game. Taking it back about 90 yards to the end zone, but it was called back when he stepped out of bounds on the sideline at about the 33. The fair catch here. 47-yard punt for Leone. And Penn State has it at their own 8-yard line. Tom Bradley says that the plan is to hit the pavement hard to start recruiting on Wednesday. And they've done a pretty good job. 14 verbal commitments despite the Jerry Sandusky alleged sex scandal, and they've only had 3 players decommit. And Tom Bradley is going ahead with full force recruiting.
It was interesting, even talking to the offensive staff, they said, hey, we're planning on going out Wednesday. We're going to go recruit those. The entire staff has kind of kept that mantra, that focus on football.
Belton in there again at the Wildcat quarterback. Hands off to Red for a gain of 4. Let's go down to Lisa.
Certainly a question is for Tom Bradley, what do you say to a recruit and his parents about your status, whether or not he's going to be committing to Penn State and to his head coach, you? And he said, obviously, I don't know what's going to happen with me, so I just sell the university. I tell the recruits and their families about what's positive about Penn State, about the campus, about the education. But as far as, you know, my situation, I really can't say much about it. Clay?
The acting AD, Dave Joyner, said he'd like to give the next coach as much time as possible, but not at the risk of not making the right hire. Making the right hire is ultimately the most important thing for them.
Here, you know, Lisa talked about Tom Bradley selling the program, and you can see the entire staff, the longevity that's been there with Joe Paterno for so long. Penn State means a lot to all these guys, and I think that says a lot about their class and what Penn State means to them. The fact that they're still out, even though all of them, their futures with the university are very uncertain, they still sell Penn State as a program, as a university, as an academic institution as well.
Now Belton on that last run just short what they needed for the first down.
Bill Belton getting a lot of carries at the Wildcat position.
Just saw Jay Paterno. There's Bradley. potentially coaching in their last game as part of this program and the coaching staff. Paterno has also interviewed for the head coaching job. 3rd down and 1 here for the Nittany Lions.
And this is where you've got to go out with your physical style of play. You're a Big Ten team, a big offensive line. You've got to be able to pick this up on the ground.
Lunging ahead, Bolden.
Well, in the first drive of the second half, we saw a snap go on the ground. Even this one, it looked like Bolden had a little bit of struggles. Yeah, that ball is loose. He's lost the ball. It's on the ground. It's the most basic play in football is just getting that quarterback center exchange, but it's been a struggle for Bolden.
Again, his first start since October 15th as Zeke Reiser is being helped off the field. Here's another look.
One more look. That ball is clearly out. Actually does go on the ground. He picks it up. Looks like he was able to keep his knee up just enough. It was a very short yardage situation. So luckily for Penn State, they're able to get the first down.
And just the 8th first down today for Penn State. Bolden, handoff. Red has to do some footwork in the backfield to get back to the line of scrimmage. Otherwise, he would have been dumped. As it happens, it's a 1-yard gain. Let's go to the studio for an update.
4 catches, 148 yards.
That's what you wanted to see here, Clay. You wanted to see that Hail Mary before the half. They might have gone for it.
Here's Bolden feeling it from behind, and he goes down at the 21-yard line. Great pressure. Sammy Brown almost tracked him down in the backfield. Bolden gets 2 yards on the play, but this Houston defense, I think, might be better than a lot of people thought on that Penn State sideline.
And it really all starts by that number 8 right there who's chasing down Rob Bolden from the backside. Sammy Brown leads the country in tackles for loss with 28. He's tied for 5th in sacks. He gets after it.
Bolden deep downfield and incomplete. Davon Smith, the intended receiver, the fastest player on that Penn State roster. Pass was not even close.
Davon Smith, he got behind the secondary. He had the huge catch earlier for Penn State. They went back to him here, and Bolden, just see this ball. Look at this step. I mean, Davon Smith has got 2 steps. You see the frustration on his face. Just a ball that's underthrown there. Another missed opportunity for Penn State.
And for the 8th time today, Anthony Farah will come out to punt. Galen Hall and Jay Paterno still got a lot of time left in this game to try and figure something out, but it has been a tough day all around for this Penn State offense. 24-7 Houston, 6:16 to go in the 3rd. Houston leading at 24-7 at the Ticket City Bowl in Dallas. Case Keenum already over 400 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. He and his wife Kimberly live in a very small apartment that they affectionately call the Half.
Welcome to the Half. I'm Kimberly Keenum, Case's wife. We're so happy to have you here. We are here in our living room, and as you can see, it's too small to even have a coffee table. We have managed to squeeze a king-size bed in the corner. I have the joy to wash all the dishes by hand. We do not have a dishwasher. And then right here is our bathroom that I get to share this teeny bathroom with a boy.
That's probably what she doesn't like the most. You know, the small apartment's fine, but the bathroom, having to share it with him, that really stinks. There she is. There's Kimberly Keenum.
I think they'll get a little upgrade.
Yeah, I think so
sometime after
too.
April.
I think you're right. She'll put up with it for now. And so far, so good for Case Keenum's day and the rest of the Houston Cougars. And they've got it back at the 33 of Houston. Keenum, boy, he gets rid of it quick. Across the 40-yard line, caught to midfield. It's Ronnie Williams. Knocked down after a gain of 17. I mean, it takes no time, and it's into the receiver's hand.
No, it's like the defense doesn't know what hit them. They come out there, and it's still the same issue. When they play soft, they just make you pay for it every single time.
Empty backfield. Keenum again gets it out quickly, this time to Justin Johnson. You know, there's a reason he has only thrown 5 interceptions all year. It's because it's not in his hand very long.
No.
And he's so accurate. This time a running play. Charles Sims right up the middle inside the 30 to the 28.
They don't run it a lot, but when they do, they pick their spots so effectively. That time, Charles Sims finding a huge gash in Penn State's defense, and now Houston picks up the tempo even more.
Inside handoff. And that time brought down at the 25-yard line. 3-yard gain for Sims. And it'll bring up 3rd down.
It's really, it is like basketball on grass. They score every time. It's like a fast break offense in basketball on the football field.
Check that 2nd and 7. Yeah, that's what Larry Johnson said. It's so hard to simulate working against this offense in practice. Crossing route, this time E.J. Smith. Great second effort. He may have enough for the 1st down. Brought down just inside the 20. We'll see where they spot him. Came right out of his shoe. And it is going to be short. 3rd down and less than a half a yard, it looks like.
And yet another formation. Just when you think, what else can they throw at you?
And great adjustment by the receiver, Edwards. Did he haul that in? No, incomplete. That one thrown behind Edwards. And it'll be 4th and 1. That would have been enough for the 1st down, but now we'll see what Tony Levine decides to do.
Well, the kicking team is coming on, but you've got to remember, they've struggled. The last 2 field goal attempts Houston has missed.
Matt Hogan has missed from 37. That one off the upright, and a miss of 50 just before the end of the 1st half. So Hogan comes on again, this time from 38. And this time he is good. 3 more on the board for the Houston Cougars. Another quick drive, and they lead it 27-7 here at the Ticket City Bowl.
ESPN College Football, the Ticket City Bowl, is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Penn State all trailing.
All right, Anish, thank you very much. Here, Penn State is down now 27-7, a 20-point difference with 4:21 to go in the 3rd quarter. It has been Houston leading since the opening drive. The Cougars taking it down, scoring, and they haven't looked back. And that last scoring drive, 7 plays, 47 yards in under 2 minutes, 1 minute and 55 seconds. They have had 5 scoring drives today. 4 have been under 2 minutes. From the 10-yard line, Chaz Powell on the return for the Nittany Lions. Comes to the near side and gets across the 35 down at the 36. Wisconsin, Oregon. The latest chapter of one of college football's great traditions. 2 high-octane conference champs meet in Pasadena. Monty Ball, the Badgers' great running back, trying to outrun LaMichael James and the Ducks. It's the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl game presented by Vizio later today on ESPN. Who do you like?
I like Wisconsin. I really like Russell Wilson and Monty Ball, those 2 combination, but it's a big opportunity for the Big Ten after having a rough day, what looks like today.
Bill.
Anish talked about the Big Ten struggles. It almost reminds you of last year on New Year's Day. They had such a rough day. Penn State against Florida had that loss. Several other key losses for the Big Ten. You know, and even watching this game, Penn State, considering they get up 27 to Houston, who scores 50, they're not doing that bad defensively. It's just offensively they can't get anything going to get their way back into this game.
Belton ran one play. Now he's back on the sideline. Bolden takes this snap and is hit as he throws. Boy, he took 2 shots. Ball loose. Who's got it? It was recovered at the 31-yard line, but no indication yet. And it looks like Penn State got it back. A loss of 10 on that play. DJ Hayden heard from again.
Well, several times in the first half, he came on a corner blitz. Coming from a long way. This time he actually gets there, but up the middle. Those are the hits that hurt the worst. Derek Matthews, number 49, right in the face of Rob Bolden. Man, those hurt.
Matthews, a true freshman. Hayden, a junior. We said before, Hayden has some NFL potential. Bolden over the middle, snagged out of the air. Justin Brown to the 20, to the 10. Touchdown, Penn State. Rob Bolden connecting with Justin Brown for the touchdown, and the Nittany Lions get a spark.
Let me tell you, Clay, how impressive that is. We just saw Rob Bolden get absolutely rocked the play before. That time he hangs in the pocket, delivers a perfect pass down the middle of the field to Justin Brown. Penn State, right when they needed it the most, they come up with a huge offensive score.
Only his second touchdown pass this year. And the extra point by Farrah. And Penn State with a big touchdown.
Justin Brown, who earlier stepped out of bounds on the huge punt return. This time, watch the catch. Bolden hits him perfectly in stride right over the outstretched arms of Phillip Stewart, the linebacker for Houston. Just going to run a post route in the middle of the field. You've got a receiver against a linebacker. You take that matchup every time. Boy, beautiful catch by Justin Brown, fully extended. That's an awkward catch for a receiver to make, the way he made that reception, and Jay Paterno's got to like what he sees out there. You know, watching Rob Bolden throw the ball, he throws a really nice, deeper ball. It's funny because a lot of his shorter passes have been errant. He's been off target, but several deep throws, he's hit guys right in stride for a few big plays for Penn State.
It's interesting that you say that because there's 3 completions today. He's only got 3, but they've all been, you know, longer plays. A 12-yard completion, a 43-yard completion, and that one for 69. 3-play drive, 63 yards in a minute 43.
I tell you what, though, that throw really impressed me with where it came. Right after he got knocked right in the mouth, stood in the pocket, delivered that perfect pass.
3rd career touchdown for Brown, the longest reception of his career. And Penn State's got a little energy now on that sideline as it's brought back to the 30-yard line by Hayes. Well, next Monday, ESPNU counts you down to the All-State BCS Championship at 3 p.m. It's the Palmer and Pollock Show live from New Orleans. The guys will have a lot to talk about, getting you ready for the national title game, plus BCS Countdown at 4 Eastern and Sports Nation at 6. All-State BCS National Championship coverage on the U. Well, now Case Keenum goes back to work on offense with this Houston Cougars unit. 2:32 to go here, 3rd quarter. Keenum, time to throw. Comes across. Caught it over the middle by Michael Hayes. And he's got enough for a first down, a gain of 11.
Now it's Penn State's defense with an opportunity here to give the ball back to their offense. A nice little juke route.
Keenum now 8 of 9. Over 80 yards here in the second half. And another completion. Great catch by Johnson. Justin Johnson, even though he was well covered, went up and made a great grab for 18 yards.
Case Keenum has not been knocked down many times, but this time he takes a pop right after he throws it. Late, that was early. pull down. That wasn't a pop, but man, that pass was still on the money.
Swings it out, caught at the 40-yard line. That time Edwards makes the catch, a gain of 3.
Here's one more look at the pass from Keenum. I mean, that ball is right on the money to Justin Johnson. These guys are so efficient with their offense.
On 2nd and 5, a running play, staying on his feet is Michael Hayes. What an athletic move. Down to the 20-yard line. How did he stay up?
Well, we just saw Michael Hayes the last play with a little juke move at the end. This time, the defender tries to tackle him low. Look at that balance and control. That is phenomenal.
Over 700 rushing yards and a team-high 11 touchdowns for Hayes this year. As this time it's Ronnie Williams getting it down close to the 10-yard line.
One more look, puts the left arm down to keep his balance. His head almost hits the ground. Unbelievable athleticism. You know, this Houston offense, watching it, it's almost like you wake them up when the game gets closer, and they are more effective. They play with more of a sense of urgency. It's like they need pressure to perform.
Yeah, the only time that really didn't happen this year was against Southern Miss.
Yep.
Keenum steps up inside the 10, down close to the 7-yard line. That's a pickup of 4. 2nd down and goal for Houston, as we're coming up on a half minute to go here in the 3rd quarter. Keenum will check the play. First down and goal, Houston. Keenum throws to the outside, and it was behind the intended receiver, Patrick Edwards.
That time, Case Keenum trying to throw a back shoulder throw to Patrick Edwards, and that's a rare case where they weren't on the same page.
So 2nd and goal. Houston 0-2 all-time against Penn State. The last meeting 1977. A loss at State College. More on the line this time here in the Ticket City Bowl. Inside handoff. Hayes bangs his way inside the 5. He's the physical back of the core of backs for Houston, used a lot in short yardage situations. And that's going to do it for the 3rd quarter. It'll be third down and goal to go from the 4 to start the 4th for Houston. 27-14. Debut that's been so far so good for Tony Levine. (27-14) Houston on the doorstep again. Case Keenum could break some records for bowl games here today, Danny.
At the rate they're going, too, they're not going to slow down and go into some 4-minute offense where they try to run the ball. Case Keenum is going to throw it. This Houston team wants to go out impressive. They want to put as many points on the board as possible. Look at that. He's got a chance to catch Ty Detmer. That record's been around for quite some time.
Yeah, the '89 Holiday Bowl is when Ty Detmer set that record. Keenum to the end zone, incomplete. It looked like Justin Johnson had it but couldn't hang on. Pretty good defense there by Danton Lynn.
Really a tight window. Keenum tried to fit it in there. In the red zone, that's where those passing lanes get much tighter. Got to be much more accurate. Still, they almost completed it, but a good defensive stop for Penn State.
And so now Hogan will come on to attempt another field goal. This is his 4th, I think that his 5th attempt today. He's missed twice. And this one from 22 yards. And a flag down.
Offense.
Houston's trying to make the case that they were prompted offsides by Penn State.
Disconcerting signals, which is delay a game foul on the defense. Half the distance to the goal, replay the try.
actually against Penn State.
Yep, that time that happens a lot. The defensive lineman will try to either yell the signal, they'll try to flinch at your tackle. That's what happened. Houston made the case to the officials, and they listened.
Houston will decline the penalty.
So Tony Levine decides to decline the penalty, and that will give Hogan a little bit more room to get this up. So it remains a 22-yard attempt. Hartson the snap, Jones the hold, and more points on the board for Houston. Now 30-14. So after the Penn State touchdown, even though Keenum doesn't drive him into the end zone, they get points on the board.
And that's primarily been Penn State's defense the second half. The third quarter, they were able to hold Houston to only field goals.
Let's take a look at today's H&R Block never settle play.
There's one more look at the Michael Hayes run. He's not settling for anything right there. Puts the one hand down, shows the athleticism. That is about as an impressive a run as you will find at any level from Michael Hayes.
Senior out of Stafford, Texas.
You know, it's interesting when we talk to their coaches, they said he's more of a short yardage goal line, a tough runner.
Yeah.
You think of a big physical guy. I think when they meant tough, they meant he doesn't go down easy.
That's right. Well, this is the 21st bowl game in Houston's history, the 7th in the last 9 years. The program has really taken off. However, just one bowl win since 1980, and that was the 2008 Armed Forces Bowl win over Air Force. So they are trying to get a big victory in program history today against a very good Penn State team. They're in the driver's seat here early in the fourth quarter, 30-14. Chaz Powell on the return. It's across the 25, pushing hard across the 30-yard line, but penalty flags down. Well, in 18 months, the Big East will be the home of Houston football. You see how it stands now and what it's going to look like in 2013. They're going to still call it the Big East, even though it looks more like Conference USA.
No, it's going to be a whole new travel schedule for a lot of those teams. San Diego State going to have to travel across country all the way up to Connecticut, South Florida. Houston's probably right at the center of the Big East, which is go figure. I stopped trying to figure out what they call conferences a long time ago.
That's why Tony Levine, though, really thinks it's a dream situation as a head coach. The recruiting base that he has and the Big East looming. Well, after the penalty, Penn State has it at the 10-yard line. Bolden, the handoff. And he gets it across the 15 to the 19-yard line. It's Silas Redd. Nick signs on the tackle, a gain of 9.
One thing about Penn State is they have stayed patient with their offensive game plan. They haven't abandoned it. They haven't gone to an exclusively pass game with Bolden. The one wrinkle they showed was Bill Belton at the Wildcat position, which generated a little bit of production. But for the most part, it's been two big plays for Penn State's offense have been a bulk of their production.
Redd again. Nice run up the middle, and he's upended. Out across the 25 near the 30-yard line. It's enough for a first down, a gain of 12 for Redd.
Well, look at Redd coming right at you. Number 24, Kent Brooks on an island there at the safety position, because if Kent Brooks doesn't make that tackle, Silas Redd might have taken that all the way to the end zone.
124 rushing yards now for Penn State as you see Redd going to the training table. First and 10 from the Penn State 30. Bolden gives it to Green, and he is met at the 25 by Sammy Brown. What a day for Sammy Brown and this linebacking core for Houston.
Sammy Brown At that outside linebacker position, so many times he's come off the edge. He's had a really productive day. You know, it was interesting talking to Brian Stewart, their defensive coordinator. We asked him about him. He said, that outside linebacker position, that's where our bread is buttered.
That was his 30th tackle for loss, which leads the nation. That one a loss of 3, second down. Second and 13. Bolden comes underneath, and it is caught. And not a lot of room to operate after the catch for Joe Suey, a gain of 1. Third down.
No, when you throw a screen pass, you want to have a good pass rush. You want to attract those defensive linemen towards you. That time, number 95, David Hunter, was just around the line of scrimmage, recognized the screen pretty quickly, and that was why that play didn't go for anything right there.
Penn State co-champs of the Big Ten Leaders Division with Wisconsin this year, but 45-7 loss to the Badgers in the regular season finale kept them out of the Big Ten title game. Haven't played well here today, and this one's picked off. Bolden throws his second interception today. It's Nick Sines coming up with the interception, and it's his second today.
Well, 2 of Rob Bolden's worst decisions have come on third down. You can't afford those mistakes.
12:05 to go. Another mistake by Penn State. Now, Case Keenum has done a great job. He certainly deserves to be mentioned as one of the great college quarterbacks this year. He's had a wonderful day.
Yeah, you look at his mobility, and when people talk about mobile quarterbacks, you might think about a Robert Griffin III sprinting all over the place, using their speed. But his pocket movement, his presence out there to avoid pressure and buy just that extra split second of time and move the ball down the field. That's really caught my eye this afternoon.
He is 6 completions away from a National Bowl record.
He'll get that on this drive.
He is 41 of 60. There's 42 for the day. Michael Hayes on the catch, but a flag is down. Good run after the catch for Hayes, but there are actually 2 penalty markers on the field.
There are multiple fouls on the play. Holding. Offense, number 74. Personal foul. Face mask. Defense, number 40. His penalties will offset. Replay the down.
Rowdy Harper for Houston called for the penalty, and Glenn Carson, the middle linebacker for Penn State. So those penalties offset, and it'll be first down at the 39-yard line for Houston.
For Penn State defensively, I think you've got to get a little more aggressive at this point in the game with the clock running down.
That ball was tipped. Looked like Jack Crawford.
And that's something we haven't seen very much today, but it was something that Penn State wanted to do. We've seen so much of those quick release passes. See, that time, number 81, Jack Crawford, that was part of their game plan, was to bat down the short passing game. They knew they wouldn't get to Case Keenum, but they really haven't done it successfully.
Jack Crawford, the senior, grew up in England, crossed the 40 to the 43-yard line, a gain of 4 yards for Sims. Boy, there haven't been many running plays today for Sims and Hayes. That was just the 5th run today for Sims. Third down now, 3rd and 6 for the Cougars, who are taking some time now. They're not nearly as up-tempo. Clock's on their side. Keenum. Complete to Sims. And that's going to be a first down out to midfield, a gain of 7. They'll move the chains. And after that is done, the clock continues to move. And we're under 11 minutes.
Charles Sims, who just caught that pass, is their running back, and he's also an effective weapon in the passing game too. They talked about that. Just another guy you have to account for in the passing game.
Everybody except the lineman catching passes. Keenan rolling out, and he's going to throw this away. Another flag, and this is probably going to be a holding call. Looked like A holding call against Devin Still by Kevin Forsch.
Offense. Number 63, 10-yard penalty. First down.
That's what Devin Still will do. He'll make people do things they shouldn't.
Well, a big part of that play was Case Keenum initially wanted to throw the ball early. And you see the jersey caught up there by Forsch, had Devin Still's jersey. But I think Forsch even thought the ball was coming out. Didn't think he would have to block that long. The receiver fell down, though.
Keenum. Deep throw near sideline, and it is caught out of bounds, I believe. Yeah, incomplete. Edwards, the receiver that Keenum was trying to hook up with, was double coverage down there. Chaz Powell in coverage for Penn State.
Still, Edwards almost comes down with that catch.
Yeah, he did.
That was maybe the only throw of the game so far I've seen Case Keenum throw and say, where was he going with that ball? But he's got a lot of confidence in his receivers on the outside.
Cornerback Stephon Morris is being attended to down there for Penn State.
Their secondary for Penn State has had a busy afternoon. Yeah. The way he was stretching that calf looked like it might have been a cramp.
So a little breather here for this Houston offense. Total offense today of 563 yards. 497 through the air. They rolled right through the regular season and climbed to 6th in the BCS standings before that letdown against Southern Miss. This is certainly the team that most opponents saw during the year. That Southern Miss game seems to be just an anomaly. Keenum. Over the middle, caught at the 48-yard line by Ronnie Williams.
We talked about it being an anomaly, the loss to Southern Miss, but a very costly loss as far as dollars. They had a chance if they won that game of getting into a BCS Bowl for a $17 million payout. Instead, they're here getting a little over $1 million payout.
The 38 of Penn State, third down, need about 8. Keenum running. And he's going to be dragged down at the 41-yard line, short of the first down. So Keenum now over 20,000 total yards for his career passing, and a fourth down situation here for Tony Levine. They're gonna go for it here. Why not?
It might be well, Penn State's going to call. I thought maybe they were going to do a pooch punt down there. We'll find out.
Timeout. Penn State. 9.5 to go here in Dallas. (30-14) Houston leading in the Ticket City Bowl with 9:30 to go in the fourth quarter, alongside Danny Cannell, former quarterback at Florida State, and Lisa Salters. I'm Clay Matvick. It has been Houston from the outset leading this football game. They are going to punt it away here after the timeout.
Well, I think they don't want to give the Penn State any opportunity to get back in this game. And the way Penn State's offense has struggled, you pin them back, they can go the length of the field.
Richie Leone puts it in the air, and it's a short punt. Takes a Houston roll inside the 20, and it's going to put Penn State at the 18-yard line. Well, Penn State has been in the national news since early November, when former assistant coach Jerry Sandusky was named in child sex abuse allegations. On December 13th, Sandusky entered a plea of not guilty, which means that he does not have to appear for his January 11th arraignment. Sandusky remains under house arrest, and his attorney is hopeful that a trial can be scheduled this summer or fall. Now, here at the Cotton Bowl, several dozen protesters peacefully gathered outside the stadium before the kickoff here today. They held some signs related to the Penn State scandal. Obviously, this has caused a lot of anger and a lot of sadness for so many people across the country. And Penn State's season is under 10 minutes away from conclusion. And as there's a penalty flag on that last play.
Grabbing, restricting the face mask of the runner. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
first down here as Bill Belton's back in. And, you know, I think a lot of credit Tom Bradley deserves for the job he has done since this scandal broke.
No, he absolutely has. And the senior class, you know, for what they've, you know, had to go through. I mean, this is one of the biggest scandals in college football history. So the two combined, and, you know, they've really come together through all this.
Belton. End around to Davon Smith. Smith hit hard at the 45-yard line. Not much gained. In fact, just 2 yards, even though Davon Smith
50.
covered a lot of territory.
Yeah, you can see the playmakers on the field for Penn State. It's just they don't get enough opportunity to make those plays. You know, we saw Justin Brown with a huge catch. Davon Smith had a huge touchdown. Then everybody knows about Derek Moy at the wide receiver position, what he's capable of doing. You know, a lot of it falls on Bolden's shoulders. Somebody's got to get these guys the ball.
Bolden complete, but Stephon Green quickly tackled by Matthews, a loss of 1. Let's go to the studio for an update. Penn State was passed over by 4 bowl games, including the TaxSlayer.com Gator Bowl. Both Ohio State and Florida 6-6 coming into that game today. This pass by Bolden is incomplete, and that's going to bring up 4th down. Derek Moy, the intended receiver. And, you know, you can understand why Penn State, you know, after a 9-3 season was disappointed in not getting selected by a more prestigious bowl game. But then you can also understand with the scandal going on why it happened.
Surely. And you know, it was interesting, the players, those seniors that we just talked about, actually the team had thought about boycotting the bowl entirely, saying we don't want to go. But Bradley said he trusted his guys to make the right decision. Sure enough, they said we want the challenge to play Houston, one of the best offenses in the country.
9th punt, and another one shanked by Farah. And Houston will get it back with 7:19 to go. The proceeds gained by Penn State from this bowl appearance, $1.5 million, all going to be donated to child sex abuse charities. Very nice gesture. Back in Dallas in a minute.
ESPN College Football, the Ticket City Bowl, is brought to you by Ticket City, your personal ticket service for events nationwide.
Houston also got some good chow at Gillies. Wonder if they did a little two-step in there. Back at the Ticket City Bowl, 7:19 to go here, and it's Houston in the lead 30-14. Case Keenum going to go back to work. Already has over 500 yards of offense, his 6th career 500-yard passing day, and his 2nd this season. Keenum flushed, and he'll just run it out of bounds. King of a couple.
Well, he's got so many career passing records that he leads the NCAA. Why not add to the mix with a few bowl records? He's only 4 completions away. Close on the yards. The way they're moving the football, he might have a chance of breaking both. And you look back at whose record he might beat. Ty Detmer versus Penn State.
And that was in the '89 Holiday Bowl. This pass complete at midfield to Patrick Edwards. That's a gain of 17 yards. Edwards well over 200 yards. In fact, that was his 9th catch. He now has 222 receiving. And a marker down. The only bad news for this Houston offense, the injury to Tyron Carrier today.
You know, we talked about it at the time. You hate seeing a 5th-year senior in his last game to go half
Personal foul. Hands in the face. Defense, number 2. 15-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
This on the corner, Chaz Powell. 19 bowl records broken or tied today by the Houston Cougars. Pass attempts, pass completions, yards passing, touchdowns thrown, passes caught, receiving yards, receiving touchdowns, and field goals made and attempted. And yet they only have 30 points on the board. That's a point you made earlier. It could be. I mean,
a lot
Penn
worse.
State's
game plan has been to keep them in front, don't give up the huge plays, and for the most part, they've done that. They haven't given the score.
Here's Keenum over the middle, and that one was almost picked off. Malcolm Willis was certainly there defensively and almost got a handout.
This Houston team averages 50, almost 51 points a game, and Penn State's only giving up 30. So I mean, you've got to look at that and say, well, it's, you know, it's not a bad afternoon. But then you look at all the yards.
They've gone up over their season average for total yards, and Keenum going to add to it here. Pass complete on the crossing route to Edwards, gets inside the 45-yard line, down to the 43. A gain of 6, about 3, maybe 4 yards short of the first down. So third down coming up.
I'm interested to see where Patrick Edwards ends up at the next level. Somebody should give him a shot too. He runs exceptional routes, really shows a knack for getting open out there on the field.
Not bad for a guy who walked onto this program. That one fired incomplete by Keenum, intended for Johnson. Got a little pressure there. It'll bring up fourth down, and Houston will punt. Just the Penn State offense has really let the Nittany Lions down. There have been a couple of big plays, but for the most part, they haven't been able to keep Keenum off the field.
No, and that was a big part of their game plan too, was to come in here. They thought they'd physically be able to establish the ground game, keep their defense off the field, and it's just been a very frustrating day for this Penn State offense.
Leone's punt. He'll dump this inside the 20, and a fair catch at the 12 by Brown. There is another penalty flag. Palmer and Pollock live from New Orleans, starting at 3 Eastern next Monday as we get you ready for the national championship coverage. BCS Countdown at 4 Eastern, Sports Nation at 6. That's all part of the All-State BCS National Championship coverage here on ESPNU.
Motion. Kicking team number 40. 5-yard penalty. Fourth down.
Let's go to the studio for an update with Anish.
Capital 1 Bowl for throwing a punch.
Wow. South Carolina looking for its 11th win today. That would be a program record. That will be harder to come by without Jeffrey. So they re-kick here after the penalty, and it works out even better for Houston. A 41-yard punt for Leone.
Well, it's really surprising to hear about Jeffrey, getting tossed from the game. It's interesting, he's been coming into the season. He had such big expectations. Of course, Stephen Garcia, his issues, the quarterback issues at South Carolina, a very quiet year. You want to go into the draft with a positive note. You don't want to go out with a little more adversity on the field because those NFL scouts, boy, they dress you down every which way. They want to see everything about you. They want to uncover everything. They're going to look at that, I'm sure.
South Carolina's last bowl win, the 2006 Liberty Bowl victory over this Houston program. Pass is complete. That's Stephon Green. And he gets it out across the 10-yard line to the 14, a gain of 8 as the clock is under 6 minutes now.
Well, Penn State now, they have to play with a sense of urgency and really start opening things up with the playbook, almost go exclusively to a 2-minute drill.
Injury on the field. Will update you when we come back here to Dallas.
Eastern on ESPN.
All right, Anish, thank you. DJ Hayden was the player shaken up for Houston before we went to break. Here is what happened. It looked like it might have been helmet to helmet.
Yeah, either that or it almost looked like a stinger play where you kind of just get your neck caught up in there from his reaction too after his hit. But it's too bad. DJ Hayden has had a spectacular afternoon.
Yes, he has. Second down and 2. Penn State trying to keep the drive going here, and they get the first down out close to the 20. That was Stephon Green. As we're coming up on 5:15 to go here in Dallas, it's a 3-possession game.
Yeah, now you see Penn State going with a little no-huddle offense. They're going to have to start taking opportunities down the field, taking their shots. The thing is, Houston knows that just as much as anyone.
Bolden to Green. Good run. Gain of 9. Let's go down to Lisa.
Hey, Clay, well, as you know, Joe Paterno right now being treated for lung cancer. He's currently undergoing radiation and chemotherapy. Jay Paterno says that his mother really keeps him updated, and she gives him all kind of medical terminology. And he says, Mom, is the treatment going well, or is it not going well? And Sue Paterno says that the treatment is going well. Jay says that his father is in good spirits. He has good days and bad days, but never complains. Joe Paterno just celebrated his 85th birthday on December 21st. He had all 17 grandchildren over to the house and said, I'm a lucky guy.
Bolden, incomplete. Davon Smith had his hand on it. Probably should have hauled that one in too. Incomplete.
And once again, the deeper passes is where Rob Bolden looks comfortable throwing the ball. That time, Davon Smith, number 20, he gets a step. That's about the 3rd time he's been behind the secondary. Oh, throw up 2 hands at it. He tried to pull it in with that left hand. Ball hits him right there. Got to make those catches. Get your team back into this game.
So now 3rd and 1, and they go back to the ground. Stephon Green appears he has enough to pick up the first. To go back to Joe Paterno on his 85th birthday, about 400 former Penn State players signed a birthday letter for Coach Paterno, offering support certainly for his health, but for other reasons.
Yeah, I think the guys that played for him, they don't want him to be remembered for what happened this year. They wanted him to be remembered for what he accomplished over those many years he's had as the Penn State head coach.
Bolden over the middle, another interception thrown. This time it's Stewart. Philip Stewart leads Houston in interceptions. That's his 6th of the year. But there is a flag down.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, intercepting team number 42, taunting, 15-yard penalty. Houston will retain possession, 1st down.
Philip Stewart, number 42 for Houston, an interception here. See Rob Bolden just trying to squeeze the ball down the field. I think at this point in the game, it's hard to blame him. At this point, he's trying to go to number 5, Bill Belton, but you know, he's trying to force the ball down the field. At this point in the game, it's hard to blame him because you have to make something happen, so you have to take more opportunities. There's the taunt right at the end from Philip Stewart, jawing a little bit with Justin Brown.
And 3 of the last 6 Penn State drives have ended with an interception thrown. And Houston now back into Penn State territory after the run by Sims. Gain of 6 on that play. Houston is poised to set a Conference USA record with a 13th win here today. Keenum gets out of trouble and throws it incomplete through the hands of Ronnie Williams.
I think people are looking at this saying, well, why would you be throwing the ball with 3 minutes left at this point in the game? But this is what they do. This is what Houston is. They're not a running team. They are a passing team. It's just what they are. That's their makeup.
They had 1 month to get over that Conference USA title game letdown and about 3 weeks to get used to Tony Levine as the new head coach. And it seems like everything has gelled pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, that was something that I wanted to watch for was their tempo, their timing, their rhythm on offense. And they surely didn't seem to miss a beat.
70th pass attempt here for Keenum. Well, he's not going to get it off. And he is sacked. He is still our Capital One player of the game. 45 of 69, 532 and 3 touchdowns.
And you could cut his numbers in half, his attempts and his yardage, and he probably still would have gotten player of the game. It's just a great cap for the end of his career You know, he's faced his adversity, had to overcome a couple of injuries, got the medical red shirt, was able to come back for a 6th year and really made the most of it.
Just a couple of completions away from a national bowl record. They are going to take the delay of game penalty here. Actually, they are going to call a timeout before the penalty. And you take a look at Case Keenum's injury from last year against UCLA. Right there.
Yep, after the interception, trying to chase it down, just stopped a little awkwardly on there. You can see from his reaction on the sideline, he's getting his knee tested out. The worst news you can hear as a football player. But he's able to get healthy, come back for his senior year and accomplish some pretty amazing feats as a quarterback, not only for the entire career, but this season alone. Like you just mentioned, leading Houston to a record 13th win here today. Really capped an end to a very impressive career. And it'll be interesting to watch, see who gives him an opportunity to play on Sundays and how he does at the next level.
He's talking with Tyron Carrier there, the other senior who was hurt earlier in this game. One of his favorite targets the last few years. Derek Moy on the return for Penn State, comes to the near sideline, spin move out near the 45. And we've got 2 minutes and 1 second to go here at the Cotton Bowl. The adjustments that Penn State made after the first quarter obviously were not enough, but it did seem to get better as far as trying to slow Keenum down. It's just too much damage had been done, and there was just no offense.
Right, and you think about the touchdowns that they gave out were all in the first half. The third quarter, they just gave up field goals. They were able to kind of bend and not break. But like you said, those first couple plays, those big plays were really just too much for Penn State to overcome.
Bolden, that might be a fumble, and they're going to call it incomplete. His arm motion was coming forward, and Derek Matthews with great pressure there to get that hit on Bolden. There's Tom Bradley. Again, he is interviewed for the head coaching position at Penn State. Dave Joyner, the interim athletic director, is leading the search and expected to name a head coach relatively shortly. Bolden runs, gets the first down and more. He is out inside the 40-yard line. But just to think that it potentially could be the last game for Tom Bradley at Penn State when he has given so much to this university. I'm sure he's thinking about that right now.
Yeah, absolutely. All the coaches said that it would be in the back of their minds, but once they got on the field, football would take over. They would focus on the game. But surely, as soon as this game is over and they get back home and return, and the news starts coming down as far as who the next coach will be, that's when the reality sets in.
Bolden throws a complete pass to the 30-yard line. That's a gain of 6 as Davon Smith makes the catch. Thomas Bates the tackle. And under a minute and a half to go here in Dallas. 601 yards of total offense for Houston today. Penn State barely over 300. Incomplete. Attempted to hook up with Moy in the end zone, and that again just out of the reach. He's been off target a few times like that.
I tell you, arm strength, you can't question Rob Bolden. He throws a nice ball down the field. The accuracy is something that he's really going to have to work on this offseason. Of course, Matt McGloin's back for his senior year. Interesting to see how their competition plays out over spring football.
Bolden again to the end zone, man open, incomplete, caught and dropped. I think Brandon Mosby Felder was going to get those hands underneath it, but couldn't haul it in.
Well, the question I have for Houston is how do you let a Penn State receiver get behind you that wide open in the end zone? You see number 13, Thomas Bates. He's DJ Hayden's backup, so clearly hasn't played that much. And almost a spectacular catch for Mosby Felder. And that's pretty much sums up the afternoon for Penn State. Just a missed opportunity, a guy wide open in the end zone, and just a hair overthrown.
And a holding call to boot on Penn State. So that puts it back at the 40-yard line with 1 minute to go in the Nittany Lions season.
I mean, if you're Houston, you go into prevent defense. Don't let anybody get behind you.
Bolden. Holding and throws it away. Eric Braswell almost sacked Rob Bolden. And there's 51 seconds left. Now there's Jay Paterno, co-offensive coordinator now. He has given a lot to this program, as I know he's been thinking about his father a lot today. Potentially his last game as a part of this program as well.
Yep, and all the Penn State coaches that we talked to, Tom Bradley, all very open and honest about their future, that the fact that it was very uncertain.
We're going to have post-game reaction from the Penn State sideline after this game. We hope to talk to Tom Bradley and Jay Paterno. And another pass thrown away by Bolden. And that's going to do it. Houston is going to take over. Already celebration breaking out on that Houston sideline. I think I already saw a Gatorade bucket overturned.
Well, they got to realize there's 44 seconds left in this game. They're all over the middle of the field. They're out in the numbers, which is something you don't see a whole lot, but I guess they went to the Gatorade bath early.
Well, when Kevin Sumlin got the job at Texas A&M and it was relayed to the team in the locker room, there was a bit of sadness, but I think overall they were happy for Kevin Sumlin. He did a lot of great things for this program. When it was announced that Tony Levine would be named the interim head coach, the locker room absolutely erupted.
Yeah, I think it's one of those cases where you've got the players on the team. They realize, they might be young, but they realize the big business of college football, and Kevin Sumlin got an amazing opportunity to go to Texas A&M, going into the SEC. And they understand that. And I think they're just as excited about Tony Levine and the future they have with Houston, building up something special, going to the Big East, and making another run like they did this year.
Jay Paterno. Tom Bradley. Some emotion coming out. Understandable. Penn State's difficult season comes to an end, and it ends on a losing note here in Dallas today at the Ticket City Bowl. And with uncertainty as to who will lead this team going forward. 30-14 is the final. Houston wins its 13th game of the year. That's a conference record. Keenum, 532 passing yards. Houston, 599 total yards. And Penn State, a difficult day all around.
Yeah, the first quarter was just too much for Penn State to overcome.
Let's go down to Lisa Salters.
It was going to be tough, but what made it so difficult?
Well, one of the things we were worried about was the first quarter getting caught up to snuff. They put 17 points up there right away, and we knew that one of the problems we're going to have is a big play, and that was what got us.
What did you think about the effort from your guys under the circumstances?
Well, I thought the guys came out, they played hard. They, you know, it's been a difficult year for them, but they come out, they gave a lot of good effort. It just didn't go our way today.
Can you share what your thoughts were when the final seconds ticked off?
Well, I was happy for Tony. He got his first win. I was, you know, it's good to see him do that. And, you know, I just check with my guys, see how they're doing in there, and we'll take it from there.
All right. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Clay.
All right, Lisa, thank you very much. Tom Bradley has been very gracious with his time here this week, even though there's been a lot going on. And there's Jay Paterno. It's interesting to think what might be going through his mind right now.
Yeah, you can only imagine the emotions that are running through Jay Paterno's mind right now, and every player as they leave the field with their Penn State gear on, wondering if this is the last time that they'll ever have it on.
30-14 the final score. Houston wins the Ticket City Bowl as they continue to celebrate. Jay Paterno trying to gather himself. It's in a very emotional time, as you might understand, for the Penn State assistant. Let's go down to Lisa Salters one more time.
Thanks, Clay. Jay couldn't get anything going offensively. What was so difficult?
Well, you know, drop a pass here, didn't quite, miss a couple of blocks. Could have called a couple things a little better. We were just one step off most of the game. You know, we had some plays we could have made that were there for taking. We just didn't get it done. And part of that's us. And, you know, these kids have been through hell and back.
The fake high snap, you told us that there was going to be a play that your dad was going to see and say, where did that come from? Where did that come from?
Just, I don't know, backyard football.
Not knowing or knowing that this could be your last game as a Penn State head coach, you said this was going to be emotional for you. What emotions are you feeling right now?
Well, I don't know if I'm feeling anything now. I'm sure when I see my kids and my wife, and it'll probably hit me. But, you know, my whole life's been Penn State, and, you know, I left for 5 years, but Penn State's always home, always will be. So, you know, I'd love to coach more, but, you know, whatever God has in the plans is what I got to do.
Your dad is at home watching. You told us the season is now over. What would you like to say to him, to Joe?
Just I love the guy, and I'm looking forward to everybody knowing, you know, what I know about him and what I know about his character, and that has never wavered. That he has always done what was right.
Thank you, and thanks for taking the time, Jay. All right.
Thanks, Lisa.
Jay Paterno goes off to certainly talk with his players. He'll talk with his family, and a lot of uncertainty surrounding his future, the rest of the coaching staff for Penn State, as their season ends in a loss here today, a season that has been a one roller coaster of emotions. Meanwhile, on the other sideline, a celebration continues for Case Keenum and the Houston Cougars. What a day for the record-setting quarterback.
Well, they got off to such a strong start early on. First drive of the game, he finds Patrick Edwards for a straight go route down the field, and really it just took off from there. They were able to find too much in the first quarter. We heard Penn State talk about it. Penn State could not find the answer for Case Keenum and Patrick Edwards for most of the afternoon.
Case Keenum is with Lisa.
You were concerned about Penn State's big defensive line. It did not seem to be a problem. How were you able to pick them apart?
Well, I thought our offensive line played great. You know, that we had a great game plan. Our coaches put us in the perfect positions, and you know, we just made plays when we needed to. Defense did a heck of a job, and it's an overall great team win.
The last game of your collegiate career, how did you want to go out?
I couldn't ask for much better right here with, you know, in the Cotton Bowl with all my friends, my teammates, great U of H crowd. It's a great day. I'm gonna remember this for a long time.
With today's game, over 20,000 yards in your career. What does that mean to you? 20,000?
That's a lot, you know. I never really thought about it. Maybe I guess I have the rest of my life to think about that.
And Coach Levine said that he wanted you guys to prove that the regular season was not a fluke. How do you think you guys did?
Well, I think it wasn't. You know, you look at a Big Ten team that's you know, one of the best in their conference there. You know, top 10 defense in the country, and you know, look what we did. You know, you can't deny that.
And what's next for you? NFL draft right around the corner. What will you be doing next?
Well, I'll definitely be getting ready for it. You know, I'm definitely blessed. You know, God's put a lot of people in my life and given me abilities. I'm going to continue to try to maximize those to the glory of God.
Just send the scouts a tape of today.
Why not?
Thanks a lot. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, Lisa, thank you very much. Case Keenum and the Houston Cougars celebrating a 30-14 win here today over Penn State. We are going to have more post-game reaction coming up shortly from Dallas. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For our entire ESPN production team here from the Cotton Bowl today, Danny Cannell and Lisa Salters, I'm Clay Matvick. We're going to be back here with more in a moment. 30-14, Houston raises the trophy.